Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Conversations with an Investor. We've got Big Mikey in the hot seat, never a dull moment. Let's go into conspiracy theories, AI and blue check marks. So let's get stuck in and let's dive right into the show. How long did it take you to drop the weight?
I don't know, mate, to be fair. Probably about a year. It would have been probably a bit faster, but, you know, get a bit snacky at times, eh?
Right.
Okay,
That's all right.
A couple of bags of crisps fall in your mouth now and again.
Is that what you go for, crisps?
Savoury boy, eh?
I'm the same. I don't mind chocolate. Like, I like chocolate as a fuel. I don't enjoy it like I enjoy crisps.
Aye.
I like crisps. I enjoy the taste of them.
Aye, crisps are dynamite, lad. Fucking so good. Love a bag of crisps. You get the sharing Walkers bags. They're not for sharing.
Nah.
That's a fucking standard. That's what a standard bag size should be. 800 calories.
Is that all they are?
Pure fried. I'm sure it's around that, like. They're pretty on. They're on the high side. Like, I was quite surprised. I was like, "Oh, you can. That's quite a lot."
What do you make of the calories, like calorie in, calorie out chat?
What do you mean?
You know, people go for calories in, calories out.
That's how it works. That's the process.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
How?
It's very, very difficult to measure a calorie. It's extremely difficult to measure a calorie. And if you had like 2,000 calories at McDonald's versus like 2,000 calories of like lean protein, I don't think they do the same job.
They don't do the same job because nutritionally they're different. Calorific value is calorific value, but nutrient-wise there are variations.
Yeah. I think nutrients is probably where the rubber meets the road. I think this sort of calorie in, calorie out is not a bit of a, you know, a bit of a sort of misnomer. I don't think it
needs to be the right calories if you're going somewhere. You can eat whatever the fuck you. I was watching a thing with Sam Sulek the other day, and he was having an argument with somebody like, "Oh, if you ate 1,000 calories of donuts a day, you wouldn't lose weight." He's like, "Well, you will lose weight because you're in a deficit." He's like, "You might not be overly fucking healthy eating 1,000 calories of donuts a day, but if you're an average person and he's 2,500 or 3,000, or if you're training, you're 100% still going to lose weight because you're only eating 1,000 calories a day." You might look like a bag of shit, you'll probably feel like utter shit, but you'll lose weight because you're in a deficit.
Sam Sulek said that.
Aye. Because he was just having some conversation with some cunt, he's like, you're still going to lose fucking weight. You could lose weight on McDonald's if you're in a deficit. But again, you'll probably just feel like shit because you're eating shit.
I mean, I wonder what that would look like long term. Because, I mean, you would get a short term. That's the whole thing with diets. You do them, if you do them and they aren't great for your body. Like,
see, this is the problem though, because you have a diet when realistically you need a lifestyle change. The diet's a part. Like, if you're just a fat, lazy cunt who does nothing, and you're just on the sofa, you change your diet, cool, that's going to be a benefit, but you then need to do the next few steps as well. Otherwise, you'll probably lose weight to a point, but you're not benefiting yourself a whole massive amount more. You need to move more, be healthier, sleep better, blah, 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 up your water intake, stop drinking the fizzy juice. You need to tick all the boxes. And then obviously you get to a point where you're losing weight and then your body does some internal math and it's like, fuck, we're losing 1 kilo a week here. We're going to be dead in a year. So I'm going to stop you fucking losing weight. We're going to shut your thyroid down. And this is how you get your fucking peaks and troughs with diet and diet breaks, refeeds. Show the body that you're not fucking panicking and you're not dying and you're not being starved and so on and so forth.
I think you're right. I think the biggest change that you can make isn't diet. I think it's your lifestyle, the way that you're moving, the way that you're using the machinery.
Everything, aye.
I think the biggest bang for the buck is if you use that machine the way it's supposed to be used,
you're winning.
You're going to get a massive jump. Aye. And then it's like, well, you can adjust the fuel. Yeah. If you adjust the fuel, this machine's going to go even better.
Yeah, you can tune the car.
Exactly.
If you get in it every day and drive it into a fucking wall, it's not going to last you very long, is it?
I mean, you get yourself a Ferrari and fill it up with Blue Wicked, and it's
not going to run very well.
It's not going to do what it was designed for, was it?
You know what I mean?
Talking of which, are you gutted that you would have missed your national service if little Roland Rat gets re-elected at this general election?
He's not getting re-elected. That's why he's done this. He's doing everything in his power not to get re-elected. He does not want to be a wartime prime minister.
What do you think it is?
That's why. Russia found out we're firing the missiles from Ukraine because they couldn't teach the Ukrainians how to do it, and Russia know that now, and he wants out because he does not want to be a wartime prime minister.
What do you think the disadvantage to that is for his eyes?
Well, being a wartime prime minister, he doesn't want to do that.
The whole thing with leaders is that there's never been an incumbent leader that's been at war, that's been, when a vote's been cast, they've been voted out. So this is a reverse move.
Well, he's pulled it in early. He doesn't need to do the general election just now. His time isn't up. He wants to do it because I think they're gonna. From what the little bits I've found by watching shit is, I think it may be announced that we're at war apparently July, August time. So if he can get out before then, and that's why he's like, oh, come September, I'm going to conscript folk and that. So folk are like, I'm not fucking picking you. He wants out. He just wants to hand the reins out to Keir and bounce and get the fuck out. His wife's not even registered living here now either, apparently. She's fucking America-based or some shit like that. So I think he'll get out and he'll just leave. He'll bounce.
Keir's a bit of a problem for the country.
Right, I've tried to find it again. See, when he was a lawyer, he passed a pretty bad thing, and I can't remember what the fuck it was. Do you know what you ken what I'm on about?
He also was the head when Savile was overlooked as a problem situation.
He done something. When he was a lawyer, he did something, and it wasn't great. You seen the conspiracy that they think he's a spook?
For who?
MI5 or MI6 or whatever it's called again.
But they think he's a...
Him and his right-hand man, that Murdoch boy. Is it Murdoch? Murdoch, something like that.
Rupert Murdoch?
No, not Rupert, obviously. He's the Sun guy. His second... What's his fucking name? And, do you ken who I'm on about, no? Keir...
I don't know who you're talking about.
Keir Stammer's right-hand man. Let's see if that comes up. Oh, it's another guy. What's his fucking name? Anyway, there's two of them, and they attend a thing every year that is apparently for... the only way you get invited to this is if you're an ex-spook. It's like a fucking, like a spook convention or something. Kind of like a veteran meeting thing.
So Stammer says here that Stammer was mainly involved as the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, in his leadership in the Labour Party. Their focus was, for example, on the handling of the Jimmy Savile case during his time as a DPP. Although it's important to note that Stammer was not the reviewing lawyer for that case. I mean, it's just cop out after cop out, isn't it?
He passed something though. He got someone off with something that was pretty shady.
Well, that shadier than Savile.
It was something, and because I just mind it saying he was the lead lawyer on this, and it was something that was a bit on the shady side, and he got it fucking either thrown out or turned over or whatever the crack was, and it was just like Keir Stammer was the head lawyer in this fucking thing. I can't mind if it was to do with the government. Well,
this is one here talks about an instrument that was passed, so a statutory instrument that are mainly under independent review for existing legal provisions, and it was signed off by the Lords Commissioner and the DPP, which was Stammer.
So I need to try and find it.
It was all around pensions.
But is that not to scam folk out of pensions or something like that? Aye, it might have been that.
Well, there was the whole situation about defined, can't remember it, there's defined contributions and defined amounts. So I'll need to look up the terminology, but essentially they realised that when they introduced the pension system, it was fit for people that had an average life expectancy of 41. So the chances of people getting to retirement age
was slim.
So they had a small group of people, and then the huge jumps in people's lifestyle and healthcare and advances in people's health, allowing them to live much longer, created a bit of a situation where you were having lots more people retire, and this is the whole boomer age. And
it's their own fucking fault. They banned binge drinking and smoking, and that got folk out of the way pretty early on back in the day.
Like good old fashioned.
And they brought in health and safety.
No health and safety.
You know what I mean?
Everybody worked down the pit. When you came out the pit, you got pissed.
Aye.
You had anarchy. Endless wars, and vaccines were cool back then as well.
Aye, vaccines. Aye, they helped you.
What about mentioning the hats? Let's tell everybody about the hats.
The wee tinfoil hats.
Let's check it out.
Because all the wee wankers on fucking social media. You two can't need to get yourself some tinfoil hats. Sound.
We did.
Done.
Yes. We're donning the tinfoil hats for everybody that says, "I should get one."
See the amount of cunts that want them too. I'm like, I wish I had them made, mate. But here's the company that I fucking got them from.
Good. So you reckon that it's a political move to get himself out of power?
Absolutely.
There's always an issue with why was he in power anyway. I mean, like what?
Well, he got fucking. It was either Liz Truss or him. Do you know what I mean?
Liz Truss got in. I mean,
no, but I mean, like they either kept her in, or gave it to him. And it was one of the ones where he was the lesser of the two fucking evils at that point. Yep. And now, but again, I think she played her role perfectly. I think she did exactly what she was meant to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think she was ever put in place to be Prime Minister. I think it was just like, right, we need you to fuck this up. We need you to be that bad when the baton needs passed.
Do you think she done it for the golden parachute?
What, £115,000 a year?
For life.
For life.
Have you seen the size of her calves?
Her calves?
Her calves.
I've never... That's not a woman I tend to try and pay too much attention
to. You would have noticed if you'd seen her doing the speeches, where they turn and walk back into 10 Downing Street.
Like a good set on her, like
solid.
Aye.
Solid calves.
Like she grew up playing rugby or something like that.
Dorian Yates level calves. The point where you go, people say there's nothing good about Liz Truss. I'm like, you seen her calves? She's got like Olympia level calf muscles on her. That. Solid calves.
I wonder if I actually just Google.
I mean, if you'd followed any sort of bodybuilding, you would have clocked it. I mean, there must be about 10 kilos of calf on this woman per side.
Liz Truss calves. Let's see.
I wonder what the search engine results for that are.
It's just her getting out of things.
She would have dented a bulletproof car if she'd not lifted her leg.
I don't know, I'm not getting... I'm not I think you built up too much there, lad.
I'll get you a good picture because I mean they're solid.
Look
at the cat. Look at this.
I mean, she clearly has calves, but I was expecting like Popeye's forearms sticking out her high heels here.
Wait till you see that's a side on. Wait till you see a rear view because it's just Mikey. It's just like that. Oof.
I'm not overly impressed. You built up too much.
That's been fucking photoshopped. They're way bigger than that.
Is it?
Way bigger.
See down.
See if you could see her foot pointing at like 12 o'clock. That's sort of pointing at 10 o'clock. That's hiding some calf size.
Even for the front, I
think she's photoshopped them, man. They're really big calves. A video is even better. See when you see it on a video, because you can.
She's strutting.
She's solid, solid. Like if she doesn't make it in politics and Zionism from here going forward, then she falls out of favour with her Zionist overlords. I mean, she could move into dominatrix with the level of kick power that she'll have with just pendulum calf swinging.
Just fucking MPs on the cross, and she's doing a David Beckham.
Well, I mean, the cases are well known.
Oh, they're there.
They're well known that sort of thing goes on. Yeah, I remember reading a parliamentary paper that had, it was about a cover up for an MP that had got involved in a scandal with a young boy.
I don't know though. I remember the guy that was getting tied up and whipped to bits, and some dirty old man. And I think he had to resign for something or another. But then you had that story where the Cray boys were involved back in the day, and there was an MP that was having the mad male orgies in his flat, and Reggie Cray was there and all that type of jazz back in the day. But I don't care if that was Hollywoodicized in the movie. There
was a guy then that was told that you couldn't. Diddy was the same.
P. Diddy.
It was sort of, this comedian's there. Got himself full of ecstasy and he's sort of floating around. He says he went into the room and he's like, there's Diddy and another guy, and then another guy. He says in full spoon engaged. He's like, he's looking at it going, like, what the fuck is going on?
It could be worse as if it was on Epstein's Island, lad.
I think we're too old for that. I think we're definitely too old for that kind of caper. That came up on the Gork list.
What,
Epstein's Island. So we'd before.
Old news now, though, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I think people still think that it's a conspiracy. I think people still think it's a conspiracy.
The only thing that's a conspiracy about that is that he killed himself. He fucking did not kill himself. He was suicided.
Have you seen some of the people that have said that he's still alive and he's been spotted?
I have seen wee drips and drabs. And like, if you do the old squint, you could maybe be like, oh, that looks like Epstein, but it could be fucking anybody. So you've seen Tupac's apparently resurfaced. There's a guy on social media claiming to be Tupac.
Is there?
He's been on stage fucking rapping as Tupac and all sorts, lad. Fuck, I don't think it looks like Tupac. I mean, loosely, but not enough to be convincing that it is Tupac. Oh, I'm back. I just disappeared for a 20-year sabbatical. You know what?
It's wild, isn't it? It's wild. Because what do you do? Like, I mean, do you get an artist's impression of what Tupac's going to look like, compare it to the dude? I mean, how do you know how he's going to turn out?
This is the thing. You could, like, in 20 years, you could, because this guy's got long grey dreads and that, and, you know, oh, I'm back. You could be anybody. Ken. And do they have Tupac's DNA on file? Who knows? Saying that, he's got kids, doesn't he? And
Tupac, has he got kids?
I don't know, I'm assuming so.
I don't.
You'd be able to get a wee DNA strand for somewhere, like, and just to confirm.
Right. So I sent you these
talking points.
Yep. These ones that we pulled up on Gork earlier.
Did you type in saying like what the chat and this is what the AIs came out with? Or?
Right. So certainly here is a detailed list of conspiracy theories that have become conspiracy facts in the last decade.
What it was?
Along with examples. So what I've done is I've said what conspiracy theories have become conspiracy fact, because the chat we've been having over the last few days is like we're running out of conspiracy theories because they're becoming conspiracy fact too quickly.
By the time we get home, they've been clarified.
So here was a list. Number 1, mass surveillance. The conspiracy theory that governments are spying on their citizens through various means, including digital communication and online activities, was confirmed by the revelations of Edward Snowden in 2013. Number 2, Epstein's Island. The conspiracy theory that wealthy and influential individuals, including politicians and celebrities, were involved in sex trafficking and paedophilia was partially confirmed with the arrest and death of Jeffrey Epstein in 2019 and the subsequent legal actions against his associates. Like that's 2019 to today, so not even 5 years, and it's already like now concrete.
This is a thing.
Fracking and earthquakes. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
They've
been doing that for ages.
Hydraulic conspiracy. The conspiracy theory that hydraulic fracking or fracking can cause earthquakes was confirmed.
That's why they banned. That's why you're not allowed to frack in certain areas because you'll shake the fucking planet to bits.
Seems pretty tame considering all the other ones in the list. It's pretty mild. Like I thought, just like so you drill into the ground, it vibrates. It's not really that groundbreaking, if you excuse the pun.
Aye, but out of that list there, though, it's the only one that could be pretty catastrophic.
No, there's more. No. That's the one on this list. There's another one. Asked about HARP.
That's the thing.
HARP. I think if given the choice between, right, you're going to be Dr. Evil.
Cool.
Right. You're going to be Dr. Evil. You've got a massive, but you need to get a bald tiger or lion.
Or a smaller version of myself.
You need to shrink yourself down. With your death ray, you need to make a shrink ray.
Nice.
But you're big Dr. Evil. You've got a huge, you shaved this tiger and it's bald. like
an oversized Sphinx cat.
Aye. So like you everybody just is like so confused. They think, is this a cat? Is it now? Can we use this as a pet? What kind of fucking litter box has it got? That sort of stuff. You're given the choice between which device do you want? Do you want the fracking device to create your earthquakes and hold the governments to ransom around the world? Or do you want HARP?
HARP.
I think HARP all day.
All day long. More controllable as well.
And you get directional. I mean, like you need to get the kit there to frack.
You ken all the northern lights we were having across the UK. Yeah. Apparently, folk believe that's a HARP testing phenomenon. No, never have you been able to see the Northern Lights of England, but suddenly it's all over the camp.
People in Cornwall
and fucking look, fucking Northern Lights.
Yeah,
but you can't see it with the naked eye. You've got to get clever with your camera phone.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, that's not really the same.
I mean, I seen the Northern Lights in Iceland, and there was no need for like
you can fucking see it.
It was
there.
It was brilliant to see.
I can imagine.
It was really see dancing in the sky, just moving. I
still used to see it all the time at her flat up north, and anytime we were fucking there, it wasn't there. The next day she's like, look, kitchen window, and I'm like, fuck's sake,
absolutely incredible.
I've never seen it with my own eyes yet.
It makes you feel really insignificant.
Lapland later this year, so
I never got to see them in Lapland, but you can see them. No, but you should.
You're in the fucking
place.
Zone. You're in the
right bit. But we just didn't get the weather.
No, well, that's it too.
And even in Iceland, it was our third attempt to get there. So we went on the boat.
Because you need a clear sky, didn't you?
You need a clear sky, cloudless sky.
Yeah.
So it needs to be cloudless, and you need to be in a place with as low or preferably no light pollution.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we went out in the boat, out to sea.
Yeah.
And that was where we went out twice on the boat, and then one night it was supposed to be clear. So there was northern lights above the clouds, but we couldn't see through the clouds.
You get the glamping pods at the north of Finland for seeing the northern lights.
They look really cool.
360 quid a night. You'd be fucking raging if you went there for a couple of nights and it was overcast every night. You'd be like, I'm a G in here,
Aye.
And I've not seen the fucking green and purple. You're due with some coin back, Mr. Finland.
Can you not get your weather manipulation device to move
that's okay.
I'm looking to see the genuine northern lights, but can you get the harp to
just get this to fuck?
How much do you get the harp to move this for a night?
Aye.
I wonder how much it must pump out in terms of energy. It must be pretty incredible.
It'll not be cheap, like.
So what one do you want to discuss first here? UFOs.
Dealer's choice, mate.
Right. I'm going to go with cashless society. The conspiracy theory. So this is from Gork. It's hilarious because you go like people go, oh, that's just tinfoil hat stuff. You're like, is it?
It's coming.
I've said that often. I said, how much evidence do you actually need? Like, how much evidence before you change it?
People are like, they can't just do that. They fucking did it in India. I think it was 2016. In the morning, the guy's like, right, from 8 p.m. tonight, cash is illegal. And he removed, I think it was fucking 76% currency in the first 24 hours. Gone.
Wow.
24-hour notice, not even 24-hour notice. Fucking 12-hour notice.
What do you make of do you think that that's a play with the changing banknotes?
See, this is the thing. Like, I think here they're aiming for 2030 to be cashless. They're talking about reprinting all the money with Charles's face on it.
So here's what it says here. It says the conspiracy theory that governments and financial institutions are pushing for a cashless society to monitor and control citizens.
Yeah.
Financial activities was partially confirmed with the increased adoption of digital payment systems and the decline of cash transactions in some countries.
But like anything else, it's for your convenience. You can just tap. It's convenient. It's not fucking convenient.
So the two people that mentioned there is governments and financial institutions, but they don't have the same. There's not the same desired result for the two of them.
No.
So the government is a straightforward one. It's control. We can monitor. We can control. We can cut off your supply at a keystroke. We can touch the button and you're gone.
But they need the bank to be able to do that. So it's like
they currently need the bank unless they can get central bank digital currencies rolled out.
And then
if they have the central bank digital currencies, then they don't need the commercial banks.
They don't.
But the commercial banks would have an interest in doing this, a mutual interest, but with a different desired outcome. And their desired outcome is they get a cut of every transaction.
1.5%.
So they are getting a fee for this. They're just getting paid for every
tap,
every single tap, every single transaction is just money.
It's
in the
another
bank.
product the bank have created to make money, like houses, mortgages, loans. Just another way to make money. Make money disappear out your fucking pocket for spending your own money in this new convenient way.
So like people out there that still think that that's a thing. I mean, like, what do you do if you go into an institution that only takes card, like it's cashless? It's like, what do you do then? It's like, so like you're.
What do you mean as if you go in with cash?
This is what I'm saying to these people that say, it's not a thing. It's like, well, you're actually seeing it happen in front of your eyes. You're seeing it where it's like, you go into even the supermarket, you see the supermarket, and what does it say? This till only accepts card.
Card only.
It's like just getting you used to that sort of.
In every supermarket now, there's only 2 cash computer robot machines. Like obviously all the tills still take cards, but if it's late at night and it's self-service, there's only 2 that will take cash. And the queue ends up being massive because there's loads of folks starting to stand up to it now and be like, nah, fuck it, I'll just wait then.
Yep.
Ken.
Well, I mean, I've seen in the data releases that cash is actually returning. Up. People are returning back to cash.
The first quarter of this year, I think this went up 8% or something like that.
Yeah, because people what they're dressing up is that people are needing to manage their money better. Because this is the whole thing is like...
It's hard to manage your money better though, because you tap. It doesn't come out your bank for 3 days. You've got more money than you fucking do.
This is the problem with the generation that's here is that have never understood the value of cash.
Yeah.
Is like if you, say you're limited by how much cash you have, you're a young dude, you're a young gal out there, you want to get out at the weekend.
If you've got 100 quid in your
pocket,
got 100 quid in your pocket,
you can't, right, I need to watch what I'm doing because I've spent 50, 60 quid. I still need to get a taxi home. Okay. I want to get a takeaway in the way back, and can I continue drinking? You need to know that. Like,
on the same
minute
token,
they don't know, they're just going like this.
You go out on the veranda and something happens, your phone dies. Oh, you can't buy anything now. You're stranded. You're on your fucking own. You've no got nothing. Whereas if you've got cash in your pocket, you can still get a taxi, you can fucking still get a payphone, you can fucking whatever. World's your oyster.
Yep.
Your phone dies, you're fucked.
Yeah. That's the thing is that...
Because most folk don't take their bank card out with them anymore because everyone's on your fucking phone.
Yeah. It's crazy, when you look at how much people are just shifting towards it for convenience.
It's not convenient though. It really frustrates me. You're tapping. Get your phone out of your fucking bag. You're not paying with cash. So this is meant to be faster. You're standing there, the cunt's in their bag, they get their phone out, they need their face to get into their phone, and then they're fucking about with their app, they need their face again, and then they need to do their double click, and you're like, come on, fuck, and I'm there, done. 2 seconds, I'm fucking away. This clown's been 5 minutes trying to get in their fucking phone. Oh, I've no signal. Excellent. Oh, my phone's dead. Wait the new. And it's like, this isn't convenient. You're holding every cunt up. And they're not the only cunt doing it. The cunt at the back of them does it. And Ken, it's like you've just watched that person take the piss and you've not thought, maybe I'll get mine ready. No.
Well, here's, we were talking to Ollie from Valhalla, and he was talking about neobanks. Neobanks are these like technology app-only banks like Starlink, Monzo, Revolut, Tide, these new players.
Apple-only banks.
They're app only.
Oh, app. Sorry.
No, Apple, no, the fruit, like app. You need a banking app.
Yeah,
it's all online banking. So he was saying that these banks have got they're challenger banks, so they are looking to sort of shake up the market and introduce sort of a bit of competition in the banking sphere, because after 2008,
cashless.
Well, here's where we go even further, because after that podcast, I was on a flight. We went to Egypt, and when we were on the flight, we ended up getting 4 flights, because there was a flight there, a flight back, and we had a domestic flight, internal one to go from Sharm el Sheikh to Cairo and back. And the air stewardess is like, it's it's cashless, so it's card only, right? But
especially when you're on holiday though, you only have the local currency. Do you know what I mean? You get money changed.
Yeah. And here's the thing is like we were on that flight, so we've left from the UK heading to Egypt. It's cashless, so you can't use your currency, their currency, then it needs to be card, right? But here was the kicker. They couldn't accept cards from Revolut, Monzo, Tide, because whatever they are using was not operating with their system. So what was happening was people were using the app or using the card or the contactless, and it wasn't going through.
Okay.
And it's like, well...
So who's blocking that then?
Well, this is exactly... Because, I mean, IT in this day and age, things can be resolved, but it seemed to be the challenger banks were getting...
get the sales to fuck.
Like, you can't use this here. And then you see a lot of these situations where you're like, well, I'd be seeing a bit of trouble at the top here, because there doesn't seem to be harmony. If you want it to be smooth. The reason that people would do this is it's convenient. Well, I just happen to have a Monzo, a Revolut, an American Express card with me, and they couldn't accept any of the three of them. And
American Express?
They couldn't accept American Express because American Express is a fortune. Like the fees on an American Express that the merchant pays is through the roof. Yeah. So they're really expensive. That's why merchants are put off with them. They can actually accept American Express, but the cut's that much that they're like, no, we're not using it. So that's the American Express ruled out. So I had the American Express, I had Monzo, and I had Tide, Revolut, and they're like, you can't use any of them. And I was like, what do we do? I was like, I've got cash. I've got cut. Like I brought the goods. Shifted through my wallet, found a good old Bank of Scotland one, had to blow the dust off it. I didn't even know if it had contactless. I thought, well, the harmony's not here, and but you're seeing that swing where people are starting to go, they're not sure.
This is the thing,
and even the good thing is there's people there that are shifting. I don't know about you, but I've seen people that were like, hey, look, I'm all for the convenience. I'm all for like this digital move, but now they've U-turned because they're seeing that there's something up. Interestingly, I seen an article where Costa, the shop, Costco, not Costa, not the coffee shop, Costco in America are selling $200 million of gold bullion to their customers. People are coming in with cash and buying gold instead of keeping it in the banking system.
Fuck aye.
$200 million.
Good for them. That's fucking awesome.
I'll double check. I can't remember if it was over a month. Sure, it was a month. I'll check that right now.
Costco, listen up. Want gold bullion on your shelves? That would be fucking dynamite.
Costco may be selling up to $200 million worth of gold bars each month, according to Wells Fargo analysis. The bars sell out quickly, and customers are trading advice online about how to get them. So they're talking about where to buy them, how quickly you can get a hold of them. $200 million a month.
Banging.
Gold sales. And it shows that that's going back to what we were discussing, is that move where
I wonder if there's a reason why they're doing that. See if they start selling the gold. Are America trying to go back on the gold standard at any point?
Well,
plans for that?
The advantage to going on the gold standard is for the masses. The advantage to going back on the gold standard isn't for the banking system.
Yeah, no, I know that. It's better for us.
Because you can't dilute the money as easily as it can be diluted at the minute.
It shouldn't have fucking ever came off the gold standard.
With the whole thing, I think we covered it in one of the podcasts, and it's funny because I was explaining this to the guys that were doing work in my house. I was telling them about the banking wars, and I says, like, you might find it difficult to understand that a bank has a banking license. That means that they can create money out of nothing, right? So they literally create new units of money. So like the currency in circulation, if just take around numbers, £1,000, right? You want to borrow £100. You think that you're getting 100 out of the £1,000 supply, meaning that the supply would be 900 and you have 100. No, the total together is 1,000, right? But what happens is the bank have a banking license that allows them to create a new £100. So the new currency in supply is 1,000 plus the 100 you borrowed. You never actually got any of the existing money supply. It was the bank that created new money and added it to the money supply. That's where 97% of the currency comes from, is that activity that banks do. So this is a bank that have borrowed you or loaned you something that didn't exist, that wasn't theirs, and charges you interest on it. And what
system's that again? Is that fractional reserve banking?
No, it's called the credit creation.
Okay. What's fractional reserve again then?
The fractional reserve lending is what people thought banks did, which was
lend out the money you put in.
Fractional reserve lending, using the 1,000 and the 100 as a template. So if you had £1,000, if the total currency and supply was £1,000, and you went to the bank and the bank had that £100 in their safe and on their books, they could lend out multiples of that £100, meaning that they only needed to hold a fraction of the money that they lent.
It was like there's like 10 times they could lend out or some shit like that, wasn't it?
So like if they, for instance, held £100, they would be able to lend out £1,000. But then the question is the next stage that anybody should have asked, because most people go, all right, then the next stage is, right? If the money supply is 1,000 and the bank has 100 and they can lend out 1,000, where does the other 900 come from? That's the next question. That's the next logical question. That's where the fractional reserve part falls down, and it actually is a credit creation model that is empirically tested to say that's how it works. Is that they're not held by the amount that they hold as a multiple. Where the fractional reserve lending part says banks have a capital requirement that is given to them by the central bank, saying that they need to have a minimum amount of capital before they can carry out their banking actions. But that isn't the thing, that doesn't explain the credit creation part. The credit creation part is they can make money out of nothing. But people believe that it was basically part of their license rule book is that you needed this much to do this much activity. It was a ratio. It had nothing to do with their ability to generate new money. But people had put it together and thought, well, that must be the reason. But he said, well, okay, that might be the reason, but how is it that they can create £900 worth of money that didn't exist? And that's where you get to the only door that you're left with is it's a credit creation model. And that, like I said, that there's nothing new under the sun. I said that to the guys. I says, this is what happened. That might be difficult to get your head round. Right, but the goldsmith story, which goes back to the 1300s, is the way to understand it. You remember the goldsmith story?
Vaguely.
Right, so the short version is the goldsmiths, the aristocracy and all the bloodlines of the elites that we'll come to later. The elites are very, very big into their bloodlines. They believe that their bloodlines need to remain pure and that they are the overlords and overseers of all of us. And that they are... bloodlines, family roots, ties are very, very important, but they have faced this uneasy concern that the masses will overrun them if they ever figure out what they're up to, if they figure out the tricks that they play. Absolutely. And that who's to say that these ones should be the overlords? So they always feared the masses coming in, overrolling their castles and their chateaus and pillaging them. So they started to think, where can we store our wealth, jewels, gold, and things of this nature? So they went to the goldsmiths, who were independently wealthy and less likely to rob them. That'll come back to bite them in the arse. And that they had their own security measures to hold, things of high value, which was the safes that the golds were deposited in. And the third thing was that it created a degree of separation. So what it meant was that you could come to the chateau, you could come in, try and break in, but the stuff was stored elsewhere. So it was a good way of kind of balancing the risk. So this is where what happened was the goldsmiths would give them a receipt. They would write them a note, and that note was to say that they had custody of the valuables. In this case, we'll say it was gold. So they'd given them the note, which is where banknotes come from. But at this point in time, it wasn't a banknote, it was a goldsmith's note, and that goldsmith note would say that they'd held a certain amount of gold, and that was a certificate. And what happened was that what these families, they started to decide, it was like, right, look, we, instead of going to the goldsmith, picking up all the gold, taking it to the next person that we're trading with, we'll just trade the certificates, and the certificates would be exchanged between them, and that meant that they didn't have to go back to the gold safes, pick up the gold, risk the carrying it, risk being robbed, then bring it back, and then put it all back in the vault. So they started trading the paper, and this is where the name as good as gold comes from, because the paper was as good as gold. Absolutely. So picture the scene here. You've got all the goldsmiths with all this gold that nobody's coming for. They have the power to write on this bit of paper a receipt that's essentially an IOU that says, I have the gold, right? And that they had the power to write receipts. So remember that all the gold that nobody was coming for, the power to make the receipts that everybody was using as if it's good as gold. And then what happened is one day they were like, well, we've got a lot of gold there, boys. Everything was in guilds back then. So for anyone that doesn't understand what a guild is, it was like, this was the club. If you were in here, you was tight-lipped. If you got into the guild, you protected all its secrets and its craft and the understanding and knowledge of a guild. So you were excommunicado if you let any secrets out. And generally, your livelihood was tied to remaining in this guild. So nobody said a fucking word. right? So there was all this gold in the vaults. These goldsmiths had got around and someone had a fucking idea, right? Why don't we start lending out the gold? Because these guys aren't coming back for the gold. We'll lend it out, right? We'll charge a wee bit of interest. They'll bring the gold back. They'll not notice because they're still trading the paper. We'll make some money. So that was what they did. And before long, the vaults, not only was the vaults looking a bit thin, if somebody phoned up, or they wouldn't phoned up, if they'd put in a message saying, look, messenger said, look, you know, Lord William of fucking Blythewood's coming down to check his gold supply. They would phone and say, look, well, I've got it with the other goldsmith. We were doing a bit of clearing out, bit of readjustment. We'll get it over here. So be like, right, bring over enough gold. They would have a look in the vault. Everything appeared fine. Good to go. These are always good as gold. These guys know what they're doing, right? So the game was still alive. But at this point, Mikey, they were making so much money out of the interest because they were lending out things that weren't theirs and making so much money off the interest because people were bringing it back plus interest.
That's it.
And they were getting paid the custodian fee for holding the gold that they were lending out.
Fucking laughing.
Right? So the fraud at this point was manageable. Where the fraud got biblical and where it really started to get out of hand was the goldsmiths got that thin in gold and then went full tilt. And the reason that they went full tilt was like, right, boys, fuck it.
YOLO.
Right. All out. Right. Nobody's coming for the gold. Nobody even trades gold. It's all this paper. We're just writing receipts for the gold. Why don't we start lending out the notes so instead of the gold? Right, so they started putting all these receipts out, and then what happened was, in this. So, picture the scene: the gold in the vault is the gold standard, right? The gold in the vault being lent out is fractional reserve. They went full to credit creation mode, which was, and this is 1300s by the way, right?
That's banging up.
Let's just write new receipts, and they'll all go and trade them anyway. Now, here's what happened, right? Everybody started trading the paper. Nobody was using gold, right? The fraud became biblical in terms of proportion because there's that many receipts out there. They'll never ever service the amount of gold. So there's a huge number of receipts and a tiny number of gold. So if this thing goes bang, we're fucked, right? And the third thing happened was modern banking was born. Right, and this was the story of the goldsmiths, and this is what I was explaining to the guys. I was like, there is nothing new under the fucking sun. No. This was done in the 13th century, and what
so the banking system started outside of the goldsmiths doing this, or the goldsmiths?
No, the goldsmiths realised, they were like, why the fuck are we dealing with gold? This banking game, this banking racket is way more lucrative,
more profitable.
So that's when they started to go into it. But here's where the story plot thickens. So a lot of people find it difficult to understand why you would have endless wars. Why do people need to fight? Why is this the case? Well, let's talk about why someone would have an incentive to go to war. So you imagine that you are the goldsmith. You've got this banking racket and you've set it up, right? And you've got a king over in the east and you've got a king over in the west, and you and your buddy goldsmith have got all their gold that you've fucking lent out. You've pumped up all these receipts. And if this game gets out, you're fucked. So what do?
Kill him.
Well, you know that he wants to fight and they want to fight, and what you've got now is the ability to control which one wins.
That's it.
Because you're the guy that writes the receipts, and everybody's trading the receipts as gold. And what happens is you can then decide which king gets the money and which doesn't. And if the king turns up that's on your side, so say I'm dealing with King William and you're dealing with King Napoleon. And King Napoleon says, show me your vault because you've told me that there's no money to lend. Show me. You show him the vault and it's empty. Because you've lent it all out. Right? It's all out on loan. And then if you want, say I want William to win, I would say, right, tell you what we'll do. I'll get William to win, but William, I want land, title, rights, favoritism, all that sort of stuff. Pay your guys, he wins the war. You as the banker gets the spoils of war. That's why you can pull out a Bank of Scotland note and you've got Lord such and such who's just a goldsmith who pulled together the racket to get title, to get lordship, and they were in this game together. Now your problem disappears because there's been a war, the whole thing's bust, what they owed is done, and then all their receipts are not worth any good because the winning king came in and took the spoils of war, and then it's just an accountancy thing where you go, well, we don't know where it is, somebody must have broke in, and so on and so on and so on. Now it's all covered in trails, and this is what I was explaining has happened over time. And when you see that, now you understand why wars are a thing, because it's not money. When you can create the receipt, it's never about money. It's always about control.
Yeah.
Because you're looking to climb the ladder to the higher levels.
It still happens now.
And this is the thing with the move to cashless society, where this whole bit started, is that if you have a cashless society, what you have is the ability, just the same way as the goldsmiths would have had the ability to decide which king wins or loses, the government on an individual level would be able to decide if you can interact with the system or not by pushing one button.
Yep.
So it's the way of controlling the masses, and that was where the social credit score, I put a great fucking tweet out. Somebody says, without Googling it, name one thing China's invented, and I put social credit score. And I'm like, this is...
People still think it's bollocks though. So you try and explain to them, like, you can't do anything wrong now. They just take it out your bank.
Gone.
They don't even, the police don't come and arrest you anymore. They just literally financially punish you, and they just take it straight out your bank.
No
due process. Mapping how you fucking move in that now. They don't even need you. You can have a hood up with a balaclava on. The AI knows how you move. They're like, oh, that's fucking Mikey. Look how he's walking.
Your biometrics is now...
Right, it's all stored. It's all there.
Everything that's in there.
Wild.
So I thought it was quite a good one for...
That's really good. I've never heard that story before, though. That's really good.
I done a talk for about... They asked what Bitcoin was. So a lot of very, very clever guys, you know, it was during the heights of COVID, and they're like, right, look, we need to start looking outside our box. Really, really skilled guys, PhD levels, really educated, really smart, very, very intelligent, but humble enough that we're like, we don't know anything about the financial system. Can you tell us about Bitcoin? I says, well, to explain why Bitcoin's a thing, you need to know why someone would create. Bitcoin's an answer to a problem, and most people don't know what that problem is. So to explain why Bitcoin is touted as a solution, you need to understand what that problem is initially. So let me tell you about the problem. And I've done 6,000 years of history in 30 minutes of what like currency is, and why Bitcoin as a digital currency would solve, or is touted as the problem that would solve that. And like it's things like they traded salt back in the Roman days. So you would get a tablet of salt would be the guy's wages, and they would trade in the markets. That's why it's called the salt market. And when you hear the expression, you're worth your salt, that's what they're saying is you're worth what you're being paid, because you're good, and that is valuable. And that was also called, when you were paid, it was called the salarium. And salarium's where modern day word salary comes from. Yeah. And that explains like all the roots of how we traded. We've used things like seashells, animal hides, various sorts of methods of transferring, energy, essentially. We're exchanging services using a medium of exchange. And to know why Bitcoin would solve this, because you look at it, it's just a hard, hard currency. What does that mean? It's, non-fungible. What does that mean? Like most people don't realize there's a problem. So you using these words that they probably don't understand to solve an issue that they probably don't realize is there, is not a great way to explain why it works. So you need to explain the problem and then explain why this is offered as a solution that would then make sense. So 6,000 years of history was crammed in, but it was predominantly based on those banker wars. And that's why Nathan de Rothschild, who said, I don't care who you put on the throne of the empire in which the sun never sets, give me control of the money supply, and I don't care who writes the laws, because the key to it is, if you control the money supply, if you are the goldsmith who's writing the pieces of paper, it doesn't matter.
And that's exactly
and that is that.
Well, who he is as well. I'm still annoyed I didn't buy a Bitcoin when it was at 13 grand.
Well, look.
So 60 grand now or something like that, give or take. 62 or something like that.
It's just under. Well, in dollars or in pounds?
$67,000.
Yeah, it's high up in the dollars. Right, you get to pick next, because I went for cashless society.
Have you numbered it?
Yeah, number 10.
Number 10 was cashless society. Yeah. Let's go 7.
7, UK elite paedophile ring. Fucking hell. Talk about a 2 iron right off the fucking carpet there, Mikey. UK elite paedophile ring. The conspiracy theory that a paedophile ring involving high-ranking UK officials was covered up by authorities was partially confirmed when the independent inquiry into the child sex abuse in the UK was which evidence was found that widespread abuse and there was institutional failings.
Again, not a conspiracy theory.
Nah.
You find it fucking orphanages, churches, fucking nunneries, fucking everything in their dug. Ken, the BBC were fucking involved, so on and so forward. Ken, everything.
How many times do you hear this as a fucking fellow tinfoil hatter? Right? How many times do you hear this? See if it was true. It'd be in the news.
It is in the fucking news.
It's all over the place. All over the place. You ever get? I've had ones where I've looked up and I'm like, how did I not see that? How did I miss this? Like you, because it's been reported, but you never sees the light of day. Do you remember the place up in Lanark? It was like I can't remember. It began with an S. A place in Lanark, and they found there was 400 children that went missing, and there was a developer had bought over the building.
Aye, and they're all
found
fucking buried in the fuck. Aye.
Did you know about that one?
Yes. There's lots. See, I try to fucking the amount of shit the Catholic Church did back in the day with fucking bairns. Ken fucking selling them to American families. Ken making when women felt when you couldn't have a kid out of wedlock and you were shunned, so you'd go to the convent and they'd take you in. You'd have the kid that just take your fucking kid and then send you out on the street. And the next thing, the bairns in America have been sold to some wealthy family.
Yep, Smiling Park.
And then someone says there's fucking a film about it or something, Philomena or something like that, and that's what that film's about.
Is it?
Aye, the mum goes to the church and because she's found her pregnant, and the church fucking off the bairn to some American family, and I can't mind if it's about the mum finding the kid or the kid finding the mum or whatever. I've not seen the film, but someone's like, "Oh, there's a film about that." I'm like, "Is it?" I was like, "I'll look into that."
Well, here's one for you, right? I'm getting a new breed of question.
Okay, go on then.
Right, and I don't know if this is the podcast or things that we've discussed in the past, or people are just opening up, or people are becoming more aware. But here's a fucking situation for you, right?
Hit me.
In training,
yep.
Pal says, I know a guy who's off his nut because he smokes way too much weed, right? I says, what sort of stuff does he talk about? And he's like, Illuminati, Epstein Island, in fact, all the stuff that you'll probably know about. I was like, so what makes him off his nut? He's like, he just goes on about it all the time. And it's just like, the way that he delivers it is just makes him seem a bit mental. I says, right, what stuff?
Like what?
He says, like, with the paedophile ring. And I was like, right, have you heard anything about that? So, well, I've heard that, you know, the whole sort of stuff that there's a bit of a culture of blood rituals and that sort of stuff. Aye, and I'm like, well, here, no, I didn't go there because that was far too heavy. Far too heavy. I says, well, you know, one of the main people that was involved in that was Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson says, look, there's a hidden currency in Hollywood that the whole place is run on blood. That's a currency. They pray to a different god. They work with a different set of rules. They feel that they're untouchable.
Yep. And
that they are using and abusing children to get this adrenalized blood. And Mel Gibson says that in 2016. He says, now here's the thing, right? We have things like cases of trafficking, the Sound of Freedom, clear evidence that there is issues with child trafficking, right? So that's one side where you see containers of bodies, government organisations trying to track them down. You see movies about people that have tried to track them down, victims that have escaped. So it's very difficult to say that part doesn't exist, right? So that's known, right? That's the known part on this side. We've got the other side, which is, in the middle, we've got the bit that nobody wants to talk about, that there's abuse of children, torture, murder, and so on. Nobody wants to think that happens. Nobody. However, you've got this bit here, which is 150,000 children in the UK go missing each year and are never seen again. 150,000 go missing in the UK. And you've got these cases at this side, and you've got these missing kids at this side, and this is a bit in the middle nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
What, like, tell me where right, so you remember when you got a sum at school where it was like, the answer's 14, this number's 7, what's this number?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. That's you're inferring what's going on based on what you know.
Yeah.
That's the inference of, right.
The input and the output. What's the fucking,
like, that's what's going on there. And you go, well, how do you work it out?
You seen some of the comparisons of the celebrities, like before and after the super drink, and they look drastically different.
Really? I've not seen them.
Healthier, younger.
Well, it's the whole elixir of life. That's what they're after.
And if that, like, fucking looking at them, it's wild, eh?
Is it? I don't think I've seen anything drastic like side by side.
Side by side. And when they've not got it, they don't look great.
Well, that was the whole thing that Cher fell out of favour, and actually, one week she was great, and then next thing she looked like a fucking. No, was it Celine Dion?
I think you'd struggle to know what Cher would look like normally now. She's had that much work done.
Nah, I don't think Cher. I think what Cher looked like is a monument in the past.
Yeah, aye.
Cher's. I don't think anybody don't know what Cher looks like.
I don't think Cher knows what Cher looks like.
Right, so we've got. I mean, I don't know, like Savile, Prince Andrew, the royal family. Do you seen the one where like the royal family visited Canada, took 12 orphan children?
Well, I sent you that hang across, mate, and they've still never been found. What was it, 12 kids they took or something like that?
12. And
the other kids, so I think a couple of them spoke out about it eventually, but they were all told, shut your puss or it'll happen to you, type thing too, yeah? Or something along those lines.
What a deal.
Fucking wild, though, eh? Aye, because who was that? Was it the Queen and Charles, or was it the Queen and... I'm sure it was
the Queen and her man.
I can't remember if I sent it you on... So if it was Philip. I can't remember when I sent it you. It must have been on the gram. To be fair, the amount of shite I send you across on the gram, it could be hard to fucking locate. You do that wee fancy thing when you can... there we go. In 1964, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip took 10 children from Kamloops Residential School in British Columbia in Canada on a picnic, and the children were never seen again, and even till this day, no bodies have been located.
That's wild.
Fucking like, wild. Unbelievable.
Absolutely wild. I mean, what do you make of it? I mean, like, I remember David Icke's strike rate's just getting ridiculous.
That's his fucking... I was trying to explain to the thing you sent me earlier.
Oh, the Zion.
She's like, who's that? And I'm like, his name's there, but I couldn't...
David Icke.
That was it.
See if the reptilians are a thing, man. That's going to... that's the hardest one to get to.
Well, whether it's, again, we're 2024, whether it's photoshopped or a load of bullshit, there's an old photo apparently of a reptilian that used to live somewhere in Europe in a wee quiet village and was accepted into the village. And there's a picture of him.
As a pet?
No, as in just living just as a human, as well as a person, if you like. But the photo of him, very reptilian. But to me, it looks like... you could probably, if you were good on Photoshop, you could probably recreate that image.
Much do they bench?
He looked very slender.
Are they?
But depending on the strength profile, you know, muscle fibre to...
I'm thinking, like, if there's lizard people, I want them to be solid and ripped.
Oh, aye. Oh, he looked like he maybe being a bit... But again, it was back in the day, so you didn't have junk food yet, so he'd have been in good shape regardless. But
probably just eating fucking small children around the village, you know, like...
oh, he's a nice guy. What happened to him? Oh,
you know how you used to get a children's story, like, you better fucking be good. Or like, Maggie Murphy's going to come and get you. Maggie Murphy's going to come and get you and take you home.
What was it? Someone was telling... I've never heard it before. It was one of the dads at the school about the fucking Jaggy Jumper Man or some shit like that. I'm like, the who? Say the Jaggy Jumper Man will come and get you. Who the fuck is the Jaggy Jumper Man?
Well, the Pied Piper was always the thing that would come and steal the kids.
Well, the problem was when I was growing up, it was always a bad boys' school. Aye. But in Aberdour, you have Hillside School, which is a school for bad boys.
Right.
So between the ages, I think, fucking 6 to 16, you can be put in this fucking school.
I mean, this is the fucking the other side where, see if they told the truth, saying, look, if you go to home, there's a high fucking probability that you will be tampered with, touched, pumped in the bum, right? Otherwise, fucking tampered with. At worst, blood ritual never seen again, right? Are you sure you don't want to make your fucking bed?
It's funny some of the things you see. Like one of my clients, he's like, aye, sometimes when the parents pushing him, I'm like, right, you're gonna go to a bad boy school, and he's like, and I'm showing him Addywell prison, and then MS-13 gang members like, this is your teacher in there. Do you want this guy teaching you? 13 drawn on his face and that. Kid's like, no, I don't. We'll fucking behave. And it's one of the ones, kind of, nowadays it's like, oh, you can't make false threats to your children. It's fucking, it's abuse. It's this, it's that. And but then he's like, I know I shouldn't, but it works. Like, you're not allowed to hit your kids or chastise them anymore, so you can't do that. I'm not allowed to take stuff off them because that's now abuse. And he's like, so what do? You can't give them a row, you can't chastise them, you can't take things off them, you're not allowed to ground them because it's illegally imprisoning your child. He's like, what the fuck are you meant to do? Your kid's telling you
MS-13 them.
Aye, MS-13 them. He's like, what'd you do? It's bedtime, right? Bedtime. Fuck off, Dad. I'm not going to bed.
They should just hire Ricardo.
Sound.
Ricardo's going to come put you in bed. Fucking Mr. MS-13 lookalike there.
You're powerless now as a parent. Like, what do? Yeah?
Don't fucking listen.
Who?
Wait, like, you don't listen to the shite. Right? It's simple. Like, if your kid respects you, right? If you have respect with your kid, both ways.
Aye, yeah.
Right. Both. Like, you give them the leeway and you build respect and you have a bond and you have a trust. Here's some things that you can do to fucking get that on your kid. Put your fucking phone down. Right. See, when you spend time with them. Be really present.
Aye, be in the moment.
And forge a fucking relationship with them.
Aye.
Right? How about that? How about getting your fucking eyes out of Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever the fuck you're in? Right? Do you know what your kid's looking for? Just you. Your time and your attention. And they're starved of it.
Well, that's what I was watching a podcast the other day, and a guy was talking about that, and he's like, and the relationship with your kid can be quite delicate, and all it takes is one of these.
Yep.
And that's broken. The trust's gone. The kid, you can to the child, that was more important.
Yep.
You've interrupted whatever's happening to have a look at whatever came through on your phone. And he's like, and that's it. So he's got a box. If he spent time with his kids, the phone goes in the fucking box, and it doesn't come out until that's over.
Me and George were walking in the park. He'd been training. I was out on the bike. Came in and I'd thrashed myself like an hour and 37 minutes of just like tears of blood coming out your eyes,
work,
all out.
Light work.
And George had been at the gym, so he's feeling jacked. We're in the, he's just got that.
Is he going? Is he old? Can he go in a gym or just the?
He's in the gym. No, he's in the gym. He's in the local sort of council gym at the Time Capsule.
Is he allowed? Because some gyms are fucking.
No, they can let them use the cardio machines, but like we went there with George, and George had his top on. And they were like, right, you can't use the machines. And the guys that look, they're just chaos. Like, they're in here like fucking chimps out of Jumanji. And he's like, look, we just don't let them use the weights because they're just off the chain.
Are they allowed the machines?
George, no machines,
no weights,
no weights. George took his top off, and the guy, the PT's like, take it, you'll not be here for just the cardio machines. And he's like, you lift weights? He's like, I've got weights in the house. And he's like, he can tell you train. And he's like, well, if you're in, you can use it all. So I've been down with him a couple of times, and I'm like, right, here's the thing, George. I was like, see, when you're here, just like we were saying, build relationships with them. See if you say to people, nah, it's all right, I understand them, I don't need to use the weights. A couple of guys have let me, I get that that's the rules. If you want me to just use the cardio machines, I'll go and work something out. Build a relationship with them, right, and they'll get to know you. See if you respect them, they'll start to build respect for you. See, when they see you with their vest on, they're going to know you lift weights. Right, they're instantly going to go, this boy lifts weights. He's getting that lean and strong now. Like I've said to him, he likes falling asleep on a Friday night on the couch. Is he picking him up, Mikey? It's like picking up a fucking dolphin. It's just solid. And I'm like, you are like sinewy, and you know that muscle heaviness where you're going, this is just somebody that's fucking built. And I'm picking him up.
That's good. I've only ever seen him with hoodies and that on, so it still looks like a string, you know.
See when he's, I'll show you a picture. When we were in Egypt, I would take a picture in Egypt. Man, George, he's got the bug. So when it's
a good age as well. Get
and what a way to get started. But you know what's really good is he's actually influencing the other, like his pals, and they're getting into the weights. A couple of them. We were at the football training, and I'll do a bit of mind programming with them before we start, which is like just getting them prepped. Here's what you should do. Every time you see the ball, you're getting better. You're a learning machine. Every single movement you make, you're getting information that you can learn and develop with. And we'll go, like, if we're warming up and his pals aren't there, I'll run up and down the pitch with him. We'll do push-ups, squats, lunges, run back up and down. one of the wee kids was like, George, you know it's not a gym in here because he's doing push-ups. Well, a couple of weeks later, they're all starting to do push-ups because there was a couple of boys that were like gigantors. They must have been like descendants of you, because these boys are not 11 years old. They're closer to 11 feet tall than they are 11. Just huge. But George has gone into tackles because he's physically strong.
Yeah, that's it.
And the boys are like, fucking hell, because they're not used to that. And they're still young, and they're like, well, wait, I'm not really that keen on that. And they're not used to people going in and sort of going hardcore into it. But George has got the confidence that he can go in with power and go toe to toe. So that's, the kids are seeing that he's training with. Shoot a picture of him here.
I got a message from Stacey the other day. She's like, wee George is asking what the weight is that you're curling. It was like 22s. She's like, he says that's a good weight. I'm like, I'm glad I've got his approval.
Oh, he's right into it. That's him in the gym.
Oh, fuck aye. You've been seeing the separation in his shoulders and everything.
I've seen that, fucking ripped.
How old's he?
11.
Aye, sound, You need to keep that bug going.
I know. It's good. And I'm like,
mate, is he eating well?
Aye. Cut out the crisps and all that. He's like, nah. Dad, get me protein bars. I was like, I'll get you protein bars. I'll back you all the way.
Absolutely.
All
that's
the way.
The flame that needs fans.
Aye, and I'm like, this is what I'm saying when we're in the park. I'm like, how did it go? How was your session? I was like, how did it feel good? What are you doing? That's awesome. Oh, if you tried this, here, I'll show you how to do this. We'll go around the park, and there's a pull-up bar in the park. We'll just shout a number. We'll do the chin-ups. Right, we get 3 sets, shout a number. We'll go up and we'll just you go, I go, you go, I go. Oh, aye, the chin-ups easy. Aye. Aye, so we'll shout 7. So he'll do 7. I'll come off. I'll do 7, and we'll do chin-ups and just rotate them round. And we were in the park and we were walking through the park. And there was a couple walking towards us. I don't know if they were a couple, they were in the park together.
Ah, yeah.
So like socially or I don't know, but the two of them had headphones in. And I was like,
talking to each other, just
like back to building a relationship. You're kidding. Like, I'm like this boy. I don't know how many days I get to be his hero. I don't know how long. I'm wanting to extend that for as long as possible. Like, but at some point in time, I'm not going to be there.
Well, one day you'll grow up and you're a fucking knob and there's no ask you anymore.
And this is the thing, and it's like, well, how do you maintain that? Well, what you do is you spend time with him and you talk to him and you encourage him in what he's doing. You tell him he's doing well. You give him positive reinforcement. You say, you know what, kid, I'm really fucking proud of you because you're getting after it. You could easily go and play your PlayStation. You could easily eat junk, right? But you're learning discipline. You're coming out of the park. You've been for a workout. You still want to do chin-ups, right? And you're seeing the results. You're doing it really, really good. And it's like, Mikey, see when you see just that tiny bit of encouragement, it goes so far.
Hopefully as well, like as he gets into his teenage years, it stays. Kind of, you get cunts, kind of like young boys, they play football and they're smashing it, and then the next fucking promise, and then they find women and fucking alcohol.
Yep.
And they turn fucking 15 and it's just fucked.
Yep.
It's like you could have been great, but you fucking...
I had a chat with his coach because, I was talking to him about, I was writing the Mount Mindset stuff, so I'm going to launch a course which is a 14-day challenge, and I thought I need to write this out because I thought to myself, right, how do you write this out? And that was what we started with writing with the young boy Gordon. I was like, how would I tell a 10-year-old? Like, I know that I can do this, but can I explain this to a 10-year-old? Because the whole principle is that you don't know that you're good at something until you can explain it to a kid. When you can explain it to a kid, then you know that you're good, because
not just explain it to a kid in a way the kid understands.
Exactly, like a kid goes, oh, I get it. So that was the whole idea of it, and I started writing it down. And when I started writing it down, I've probably put in the last 4 days some of the best material that I've ever put down in my life in those pages. And it started from... There's
big money in kids' books as well, mate.
Is there?
Big money. Loads of boys I ken, they're starting knocking out kids' books on Amazon, Facebook, pumping them out and that.
Yeah.
But especially educational books for kids.
Well, I mean, you look at like that encouragement, and that was putting down, like I was talking to Georgie's coach, and I was saying, like, look, here's some of the things that I'm writing down, and here's a way that you can get an even better result, because if we can start to apply some of these principles that really do work, then let's use them to get the most out of the boys, because they're at that prime age where they've not got any of these bad wirings that you pick up later in life. They're prime for that encouragement. They're prime for that reinforcement. So it's really important that we catch that moment where we can do it. And I was thinking, like, there's people that I knew that it was because the mountain mindset as community itself is quite insular because we've not opened it up. But
has Mark done the app yet? Do you know?
No. Because one of the things that we're doing with this challenge, we're going to advertise out to everybody. We're going to say, look, here's the challenge, right? The whole premise of it is that, right, there's only really two mindsets. There's a fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset, right? If you're not getting the results that you want in your life, which mindset you're in, right? And if you don't think that that's you, answer these questions,
that's it,
right? Because there's clues about where your mindset is. And there's clues that you're in this one. So you're either in the fixed or you're in the growth or you're a mixture. And if you're a mixture, then it's really important to figure out which ones are fixed that you can switch and which ones are the growth that you want to double down on. And it's separating that out. And I thought this is the sort of thing that to separate that out for an adult would be, you would assume that adults would get it, but a kid would be a bit more difficult. So you would need to go even further.
I think it would be the other way around. I think a kid would be more open because fucking adults are stubborn and they're stuck in their ways, especially most of them.
Especially if they're in the fixed mindset.
Yeah.
Like the more long,
and even
more
if
years
they're not even
in,
aware that that's where they are either. That'd be even harder to try and fucking just stubbornness and just refusal to accept that they might not be optimum.
But here's the beauty of it, Mikey, is see one of the biggest things that you can do when somebody even gets a blip of growth. If you put a tiny bit of encouragement on it, it's like putting Miracle Grow on a flower. It just goes, because all they need is that reassurance that it was right.
Yeah, that's it.
All they need is that wee bit, hey, you're doing good.
Aye.
But you done that, and that was good, and you're going to get this result. That's the magic that they need. And it's like, you know, if you've got, it's the sum of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. You hang around with these people, if they're all in the fixed mindset, what are you going to do? You're going to fall into that category.
That's it.
I actually drew a picture of it and I thought, what does a fixed mind look like? Do you know what I drew? Right, I drew a rectangle, right, with fixed in it. And then I drew other rectangles like a brick wall. I mean, you can't move.
No, you're stuck.
You can't move here. You're fixed in this spot. As I says, it looks like a brick wall. It looks like a brick and a brick wall to me. This is because you're fixed. You've locked yourself in there.
Yeah, that's it.
And unless you take yourself out of that wall, you're never going to move. That's why you're not getting the results in life. And it's like, right, how do we know which bit of you is fixed? Well, here's the things that you'll say. You'll say things like, it doesn't matter if I try, it's not going to work. Or
I was literally, before you, I was just going to say, the amount of folk that they want, I want this, I want that, but they're not willing to do anything to get it. Like, they're just going to wake up one day and it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's that Lamborghini I wanted. Man, what did you do? I just woke up. That's never happening to no cunt. Ken, the 0.0001% that win the lottery, maybe.
Yeah.
But, aye. Fucking.
It's funny because I showed Stace the list. Fuck it. Got the new wood burner on the house. So I'm sitting burning the wood.
Have you found the balance yet between scorching and scorching?
No, because it was like, right, I need to get this wood fucking going. And it's like, right, I'll open this up. The wood goes, and I start writing down, and I feel the rosy cheeks. I'm like,
my mum and that got theirs in last year. They're struggling to find a balance to the point where they're like, we could maybe make the house open plan. We'll just take a wall down and maybe it'll become manageable.
We sit 25 feet from it.
Fucking, she's like, because their house it's like an eco type,
right? So
it has the heat anyway, and they've put a log burning stove in the lounge, and they're just like, can some nights one log's enough? They're trying to assess it by logs now. If I put one log in, that's not too bad, but that door needs to be open. And then I went last time. Stephanie's like, I'm thinking about taking the kitchen wall away. I'm like,
get out of the
road. Then they can have doors they can open and come. Like, fucking hell.
It's what it's like.
Cut the logs in half. How about do that first?
We did it in the corner.
Where have you put it?
So we've took away the wall between the dining room and the kitchen. So if you went,
in
the dining room, there's a wall between the living room and the dining room. What's in that corner, where the window is.
Yep.
Over
in the far corner
between it's the
so it's on the back corner, back garden driveway.
Aye,
yeah, I'm with you.
It's there, and Stace didn't want tiles at the back, so it was like, right, what's the solution here? And you can get stoves that are just front only, so there's no heat radiates out the back of them.
Yeah.
Well, that Mikey, this is like sitting in front of a fucking blowtorch. I'm like, oh. Like I'm determined. I'm like, I can't. I've always wanted one.
So what
of
have
these.
you done with the dining room now then?
I took the dining rooms away. So
there's a table in the kitchen now.
No, they're putting the kitchen in. Putting the kitchen's been completely replaced.
So is the kitchen still in the same place?
No,
you've moved the kitchen.
Well, there's where the kitchen was.
Oh, the new doors. That looks good.
We're taking by. We're putting
shit. Okay, I see what you're doing.
Putting bifolding doors in there.
Oh, this is what Stacey was talking about. She wanted you to do.
Aye,
I'm with you. Right, so you're gonna. Sweet. I like that. So it's separate but not separate.
Yep.
That's well better than what you had.
It's massive.
Oh, fucking right. It looks massive. So where's the oven now? Is that?
It's on the. Where the table was. There's a row of units on the wall that had the clock. You know, the big clock.
And then the garage doors at the back.
Let's see.
I'm fucking struggling to figure out where that bit is. So where the oven is your garage stairs.
Remember where the window was? Where the window is, it's still there. Well, opposite the window, the big window in the kitchen.
Yeah.
There's units on that wall. Aye, so that would be the window. It's on that wall. So we've got a big row of them there, and then a pantry in the corner.
That's like triple in the size of the kitchen.
It's like ridiculous. I'm like, Stace, we're not going to fill this. We don't actually have enough stuff to put in this kitchen.
That's good though, lad.
Oh,
you can never have enough fucking storage in a kitchen.
That's what I'm hearing. I am so.
You'd be surprised at how much shite you'll fill it with. I overdid my kitchen for storage, and now that it's full, and I'm like, it's like when women buy shit to fill food in drawers. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've got a rice maker. Why? Oh, I've got the space. Awesome. Well,
I put out a post where I says, look, this is boys, this is a public service announcement to fucking all the dudes out there, right? Before you let your missus go absolutely fucking nuts on,
you're gonna hate that colour though, lad.
Putting a kitchen. I'm not gonna be hating nothing.
Oh, you're gonna hate that colour.
Stacey will hate it.
Aye, Stacey will hate it. Every fucking mark, lad.
We've got the matte stuff.
So have I.
Is it still show up?
Yeah, mate. And the only thing that will get it flawless is a magic cloth, and that's fine until someone walks through the fucking room.
What's up with it?
Well, the mat shows every fingerprint, every fucking mark.
What is it? Is yours flat? Because I've got the shaker one with the grain.
Oh, is it?
Aye.
All right, okay.
And it's not bad. Like, we've got dust and everything. It's nothing like, it's not flat.
Mine's just flat, man.
So is it static and it's pulling all to the...
Not so much that, but you can see anytime some can open something, because, I made the mistake here, right? I've had the bunkers and splashback changed because I had everything matte black. Right. Everything. And that was the fucking worst mistake ever.
Does look good at the start though.
Unbelievable.
Really. It's like having a black car. When that thing's clean, nothing beats
cool as fuck.
But as soon as if you drive it from one parking bay to the other, you need to wash it again.
So on all the drawers in the cupboards, I've got the handles are almost the same length as the drawer.
Nice.
Which catches every crumb, every bit of fucking dust. And when you wipe it, it goes in the wee crease, so I'm forever unscrewing the handles. I'm like at the point where I'm like, I'm changing every fucking cupboard door in here. Aye. And I'm going to put tiny little circular knobs in one fucking corner because it does my tits in it. It pisses. You walk in and you're like, it still looks dirty. This is immaculate. I know it's immaculate because I've just cleaned it, but it looks fucking minging. Aye. And then Ragnar will go in, open drawers with being a kid in their fucking fingers, and you're like, I know where you've been.
You can follow it. It's like,
fucking
follow the treasure map.
Aye, never again. So yours is like a flocked coating.
It's like a wood shaker sort of style. It's not like, as I say, the guys are working in it, and the dust, I mean, we're not really needing to do much with it.
That's good then.
I've been quite surprised because I thought the same, like the dark was going to shock. So we've got the white. Because
mine Stace asked Charlie, and Charlie's like, don't.
Like white granite, or I can't remember the material, but it's the white tiles, the white worktops.
The white tiles are a nightmare to be fair, but you've got the white tiles right through the house anyway, so you're used to that.
So be sound, be all right. I'm just waiting for the inevitable.
What the
don't do that in my kitchen. No, the bill I know. It's the grief that's the hassle. of, you know, don't touch your kitchen, don't do that, don't put this here, you know, take your shoes off outside. You in fact, I'm not really sure you're allowed in. I know you bought and paid for everything, but I don't want you to touch any of my, like, I've just cleaned that. The dogs will be getting a pre-entry inspection. You know, they'll be in quarantine.
You'll be getting your own fridge put downstairs in the garage.
Sometimes it's easier.
Nah, fucking right.
Well, I put out a public service announcement for all the dudes. I'm like, right, I could go to my kitchen with my eyes closed in the dark and know how to operate everything, oven, microwave, the whole lot.
Not anymore, mate.
Like, I now have this thing. I'm not quite sure, Mikey, if it's an oven or a microwave.
Oh, it's both. I've got one of them too.
I don't know, but I know that I don't know anything about it.
See, if the oven/microwave doesn't have a spinny bit,
it's not got a spinny bit.
Nightmare, lad.
Is it not?
You need to turn it yourself through the cooking process.
Yeah.
Because it will only cook from one direction. It is a fucking to the point where I bought an actual microwave that spins, that sits on the desktop now. I no longer use the double oven because it's a pain in the cunt.
Right.
Shite invention.
What brand is it?
Pass. I bought it like 4 or 5 years ago now.
This thing's, I mean,
the induction cookers and that, and the induction hot. Actually, saying that, I would never have another induction hot. Could you get an induction hot?
Nah.
Good lad.
Nah, because I heard about them. They're
fucking.
They're really. When you get them right, they're really good. But
it takes a wee while. Then you've got the magic number, which everyone cooks great on. Mine's is 7, banging, fucking deadly. But the guy sold it to me as a safety feature. He's like, "Aye, you know, you can cook on it, and then you take it off, and it's no hot." Fucking lying cunt. It's if you cook at 200 degrees, the top of it's 200 degrees. So, but he sold it to me as you could touch it straight after. No, you can't.
No chance.
Full of shit. And it's really annoying because unlike a gas, so everyone's done that thing, you're cooking pasta or whatever, and it'll have a wee overflow, and then you turn it down. This thing will shut off.
Gone. Which
is really fucking irritating. And then you need to fully remove all the hot shit, dry it completely perfectly before the thing will fucking start again. Which is not ideal when it's all hot as fuck. You're like, great, where'd I put this?
Yep.
I'm not going to put it on my bunker, I'm going to fucking melt the cunt. So you're standing there trying to hud 400 roasting hot pans while simultaneously trying to dry the fucking hang. It's stupid. Terrible idea. Gas.
Aye. But you like gas?
Gas hob for the win.
Right. I'm not a fan of gas. I prefer electric.
Electric hob, really?
But I'm
the
good.
Fucking burning rings?
No, ceramic. Get a ceramic electric hob.
Oh, right, okay.
Ceramic one's good. No, the rings there.
The rings are
shite. Seem a bit, I don't know.
They're either fucking skyrocketing roasting or they're fucking shite. It's kind of, basically, it's an induction without a magnet.
Right.
Same principle.
A ceramic electric hob's decent.
The only good thing...
Gas is instant, though, that's the thing.
Well, in all fairness, the induction, like, if you want to boil water, it will do it in a record time. Rapid, lad. I think the induction, I'm sure it's magnets that just spin really quickly and it heats up via friction or some shit like that. I'm pretty sure that's the crack. Because when you put it into 9, kind of hyperspeed, you can hear the it's like a fucking...
Speaking of which, let's fucking get right into it. Terence Howard.
Big Tez.
Oof.
Legend.
What did you think of that?
Blew my mind, to be fair, lad. I was trying to explain to Charlie the day and she wasn't quite getting what I was saying. Like,
what did you say to her?
She was, because I was just, I can't mind. I think I said something in the past and she's then asked me about it. And I'm like, if what he's saying is accurate, he's changed the world. Fact. He's basically contradicted everything that we know to this point and literally just flipping everything on its head. And I was in the gym last night and one of the lads in there, he's the maths guy at uni now. And even just down to that basis, like, what's 1 times 1, mate? It's like 1. I'm like, thank you. It's like, how? He's like, because you're fucking taught it's 2. He's like, how can you multiply 1? I'm like, thank you, I know. Ken, I was doing Ragnar's fucking homework. And he's like, 0 times 10. He's like, it's 0. It's not 10. But the answer they teach Ragnar in school is that it's 10. But he's like, 0 times anything is fucking 0. You can't, if the answer's 0, you can't times anything by fucking 0.
Well, that was the thing Terence said. He says that you can't, like, everything in the universe is a polar end. Right. He's like, there is nothing that's 0 because nothing's at rest. Everything vibrates. He says 0 is a made up thing.
Aye.
So it's like you can't multiply 0 because 0 doesn't exist. He's like, 0 isn't the...
It was a really good watch. Like I said to you, I want to watch it again just so I can fully take everything in.
Right, let's see the bullet points.
I like how he explained everything though. And then he would say, and the proof of this is, and then he explains how he can prove it as well.
Well, he talks about, like, what did you make of the one with the Earth, the distance for the Earth to the sun?
I get, well, like he says, he's like every planet's moving the same speed away from the sun every year, 0.6 inches. So all you do is reverse the math to get the age of the universe, so on and so forward. And again, it's like a theory like anything, but, you know, if the math's right, it doesn't lie. Do you know what I mean?
Put it in here and see what it says here. So what was the view, what was the specific points from Terence's viewpoints on the universe's construction? Have you ever put an AI and seen how far you can push it?
I've never used one, lad. I don't know how secure and safe they are, so I just...
You need to get into a fuck it mode, like just fuck it, like, you know, where you're like,
it's there anyway. Do you know what it is? What it is.
Like, I don't think you or me putting anything into AI is going to change the course of AI.
Loads of guys are using them for texting birds now. They'll put the response that the lassie sends in into ChatGPT, and that's so a lot of dudes are talking to lassies via ChatGPT, lad.
No danger.
Yep.
There need to be a fucking...
If you're out there getting messaged back and forth by a guy who's banging at texting you, chances are it's AI.
He's
taking your response, popping at ChatGPT, I need a reply to this.
No way, man. Right? No way.
That's the thing, lad.
How bad is it if that's what you need to do?
That's effort, lad. That's more effort than I would go to reply to a fucking lassie. Again, these guys they've got apps now. They're like, right, I'm going to fucking nail this fucking texting game.
But I mean, this is the problem with society. It's like, right, you should be attracted to the person.
Did you see ChatGPT's made its own new version of itself?
Oh,
yeah.
No way.
So apparently coding-wise, the people that invented the ChatGPT originally, they're on like ChatGPT 6 or some shit like that.
Yep.
ChatGPT has released a ChatGPT 2, which ChatGPT has upgraded itself. It has created its own...
Skynet is online.
It has created its own update. And all the coders guys are like, this wasn't us. And it's ChatGPT has made its own upgrade for itself.
Fucking hell, man.
But like the one that they released and it...
Did you see Google's one?
Well, I can't remember what one it was that it couldn't.
It's trying to make images of like make a fucking give me a picture of a Native American, and it's coming out with like a fucking Chinese sort of bilingual
or just fried.
It's just like it's obviously being
programmed.
To be
PC as fuck.
It's trying to be PC, and it's like we can't stereotype anybody, and you're just like, oh, that is absolutely embarrassing.
Now, one of the ones it was restricted by what it could do and the ways of safety. So the AI system has hired, it can't do it itself. It's hired a guy off Craigslist to make the alteration to allow it to be able to do more. But it couldn't do it to itself. It wasn't allowed to because the rules and laws were put in place. So it hired someone to do it for it.
What do you think? Do you think AI is going to be the end of the fucking tattoo industry?
No.
You're going to get a fucking robot that can tattoo you better than Big Mike?
No. Because, I mean, if it goes down that route and because people are fucking about with 3D printers and tattoo machines and such.
How would a 3D printer, what would be the relationship with 3D printing and tattooing?
Well, for argument's sake, you want fucking, just anything. You want the collusion logo. You can program that in and it will tattoo it exactly. But
right,
it can't really take into account if you move, if you need a pee break, you're strapped in.
Aye.
And and because it's a, you're there. Right?
Sitting there, like the lethal injection fucking bed. Like
this thing doesn't give a fuck if you pass out. You know what I mean? You could be fucking.
You're sitting there, fucking like
the fish out of water, and the thing's just fucking stabbing the life.
Just piss, motherfucker, piss yourself.
Aye. So there has to. So even on that basis, there's going to have to be an operator.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So why would you even just do it yourself? And then the So even the creativity aspect, you're going to still have someone to program that into the 3D printer and all this type of shit. So it just seems like an extra step that isn't needed. If you're not a good enough tattoo artist that you need a 3D printer to do an accurate tattoo, fucking quit.
Well, I've used things like Grammarly, which has an AI element, and
to make sure you're not doing plagiarism in that.
Yep, and things like Loom or any video recorders and anything. It's reading the transcript of what you're saying and coming up with suggestions.
Yeah,
and there's never been one that I've went, holy fucking shit, you've nailed it. It's like, right, I can see what you're trying, but you're not really there. Like this is what you've said is good, a really good guess, but you're not landing.
There's like an AI tattoo generator now.
Where you're like you're not.
You're not there. So if there's a program now, you can type in like, oh, I want a Mario tattoo, and the AI system will generate some Mario type ideas based off what you've put into it. But you still need someone to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think and as well, see any post-apocalyptic type movies or films or TV series there's always a tattoo artist there, tattooing cunts.
It's a
you watch Divergent, there's a tattoo lassie in that TV show The Expanse when they're out in space. There's tattoo artists on the fucking space station. I'm
fucking cockroaches of the universe. So like, we're going to show up everywhere.
Aye.
Like there's in the fucking post-apocalyptic world, there will be a bookie and a tattoo artist. Like things that will remain is people want pictures drawn on them and to fucking punt.
Aye.
That's it.
I'm good.
You're good.
And even, you go Starship Trooper, they've got a mad laser tattoo artist in that movie, but, again, I can't see it. You still need someone to program it all and that. So, the worst case scenario, we turn into like a CNC programmer.
Right.
This is the tattoo you want sound, and you've got to stand there for 45 minutes programming the fucking code into the machine.
Right, fucking hit me up with Terence Howard discussing his hearing the voice when he was in the womb.
Ken what? Like, I think a lot of people are going to pull him apart because of how this story for him started. See if he skipped that bit out, there would be less backlash. Because constantly, all right, you came up with this at 5 in a dream.
It wasn't even 5. He was in the womb. He wasn't even born yet.
But that's the dream where he was able to enter this palace and get all the information. He was older, but he says his earliest memories is in the womb. He can remember being in the womb, and he can remember being born. But the access to the palace wasn't until he was a young child.
He could. If I might be misremembering this, did he not hear the voice in his womb, which was his voice? See, like he'd been here before.
When he was kind of thinking and stuff, he does say that, but when he's talking about how he got his 97 patents from the palace,
right,
that was a wee bit later when he developed the power of inception, as he said. That was when he was dreaming as a child, because obviously some of the points where he's discussing his mathematical arguments with his third grade teacher and that, he'd had the dreams by that point. I don't know what third grade is. Is that P3 for us?
Let me check.
I'm not sure.
I'm playing Resident Jamie tonight, so bear with me if you see me typing.
I don't know if it's kindergarten.
Grade 3 age in America. Do we want age or comparison to the primary?
No, third age, because we know what age kids are at school. Do you know what I mean? So what age are you when you're in third grade in America? I would bang that because they get kindergarten, we get nursery.
Right.
But then they get preschool.
8 to 9.
Aye, so P4.
Yep, 8 to 9. He's going to be in primary 4.
Yeah. So P4, he's having the mathematical arguments with his teacher about 1 times 1. Because at that point, he's already had the secrets to the universe. So he was 5 or 6, I think, when he had that into the palace, and then he was like, I can control my dreams and shit.
Yep.
Which would be cool as fuck.
I mean, it's...
Have you looked up some of his patents and that?
No.
Outside of the Joe Rogan thing? Nah, I need to go down a rabbit hole at, because he spoke about some of them, but if he's got 97, he maybe spoke about 5 or 6 on the podcast.
What about the VR one?
How cool is that?
That
Terence
is very,
Howard
very
is
cool.
responsible for AR VR. See if Elon does get in touch. It'll be interesting to see what they can do together, considering every single person that has used his patent, he can now use whatever they've developed as he has priority as the inventor. All the companies, they'll be like, fuck, I wish we gave him a couple of quid so he couldn't have priority. because he'd have been paid. But because they haven't, he has priority now, so he can just fucking use any of it. At first I was like, why did they pick Saturn to recreate? But then when the whole hexagon thing was, I was like, that's why.
Terence Howard's patent list.
The gun's cool though, the plasma gun.
Did you see where he was describing the meeting of the four bubbles?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
And how it's a natural occurring stable structure. And now he's managed to base creating a planet not an aeroplane, because it's not an aeroplane, but as the new method of flight. And
did you see the lights?
How cool's that?
I want one of them.
How fucking cool is that?
I went on his website and started reading the PDF book.
Is it free?
Mm-hmm.
I think I needed to try and remember what his site was.
So, virtual reality system, a magnetic field block. This patent involves a magnetic field block that can conduct electricity to surrounding dielectric fluid, and its generation of a magnetic field can induce magnetohydrodynamic motion within the dielectric fluid.
The fuck does that even mean?
It means that there's a new sequel to the X-Men coming. And that's only 4 of them. So
this is what I'm saying. He's got 97 patents.
So his virtual reality system was the patent that describes a system and method for merging virtual reality and sensory detail from a remote site into a room at a local site.
See, this is and no one's doing that yet.
Elon's Neuralink is the sort of device that's the next stage from that, where you're merging the two.
I was a bit disappointed that the first dude they've put it in happens to be a fucking paraplegic.
Why were you disappointed with that?
Well, because, like, I don't think it really proves a whole lot. Like, because all this guy can do is move his eyes. Yeah.
And did he move his eye? Was he able to move his body afterwards?
He's just like, he's paralyzed from the neck down.
Mm-hmm.
So he's on like a Stephen Hawkins type chair, but he can control the cursor with his eyes. But on my phone, if I'm looking down and reading something, the phone will move up for me.
Will it?
Yeah.
I've never had that.
And because it's constantly an iPhone takes a picture of your face every 15 seconds, which is why your screen stays on. So is it the Neuralink, or is it just something that's tracking his eyes from the fucking monitor? Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, that's not enough to prove that it's any good. I can move a cursor with my eyes. Do you know what I mean? How's that any different to a Nintendo Wii? Because you've got the controllers.
Well, it was the whole thing about being able to...
Has he got contacts in for all we fucking know?
Was people, you're not able to, send a signal to you lost feeling in a limb, strokes.
That I think that's the long-term thing, like, it could rewire your brain and fix bits and this, that, and the next thing. But all I've seen from this dude is he can play chess using his eyes on a computer. That's pretty much all I've looked at so far. Right. The Neuralink has allowed him to control his computer via his eyes, which for him will be a massive step, because obviously he can't really control a whole lot. So him being able to control and access a computer via his eyes must be fucking life-changing for him. But I don't know what I was expecting. I just feel like I'm sure there's systems out there that can do that with your eyes without needing something to put in your head.
Hawkins was able to do it without...
Did Hawkins not have a finger,
I think
though?
he did, but he had to use his eye at the latter stages of his life. It was the finger was when he could still control his finger. But I think he lost that skill in a trip to Epstein Island.
So
it was just eyes after that.
I don't know what I was expecting with the Neuralink, but I was expecting a bit more than... I mean, see if going forward they put a chip in a quadriplegic or paraplegic or whatever the correct term is, and they get a bit of freedom, then sound awesome. But I don't know. I was expecting, for me, I'm like 1990s Matrix. You can download the manual to a helicopter and fly. That's the chip. Not that I would want, but if you're going to put a brain chip in, that's my expectation point. I want helicopter manuals in my head type shit. You know what I mean?
Elon was on talking about the AI. Like AI was going to do people's jobs better than them. So like the difficulty would be that how do you find meaning in your life? Because a lot of people derive meaning in their life from the work that they do.
But he also says as well, he's not concerned about, he thinks we'll need AI. We won't have enough people to do the jobs.
Yeah.
So he's like, I wouldn't worry about AI taking your jobs. He's like, I think we're going to need AI because the population's now, according to him, going to start going on a downward slant, and then we're not going to have enough people. Because right now, we've got, what, 8.9 billion, give or take.
Yep.
And according to the WEF, they want to get us down to 1 billion. And right now, there are not 7.9 billion unemployed across the world. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have a lack of people for fucking jobs.
The thing being is that the function of jobs is serving the function of the people. So there'll be a number of, you know, as people downsize.
So it might balance
the requirement, it'll be a ratio of like, you know, for every 10 people that visit the train station, there's one person that needs to work in the coffee shop.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's probably a bad example,
a lot of jobs
but it'll be
void as well.
Like if you had, like, there would be whole places that would be sort of desolate because people would, if everything shrunk in. So if your population shrunk, then the communities and social environment would shrink in.
Yeah,
like, and it's expanded that way, so it would shrink in. So I don't think you would. You know, AI could definitely make your coffee, but it's not unless it's going to reproduce. Then
you see who's picked to take over the WEF?
Who?
Tony Blair.
For fuck's sake!
Yeah, Tony Blair's the name that's been thrown out to be the new leader of the WEF.
Tony Blair, as he gets older, is looking more and more like Vigo at Ghostbusters 2.
The fuck is Vigo?
Oh, I'll show you one picture. You're going to go, that's fucking Tony Blair. Okay.
Ghostbusters 2. It's been a minute since. It's been a minute since I've seen a Ghostbusters movie.
You remember like the pink sludge going under the city?
Oh, aye. Okay. Yeah, right. I can get on board with that. If you trim the hair up a bit.
Let's see if we can get a fucking side-by-side picture with him and Tony Blair.
So big Tony B's. His name's been thrown in the WEF ring.
I mean, that is going down the Swanee. That's done. That's down the pan. The WEF is gone.
You think it's gone?
Gone.
You know, I think he'll bring it back.
Nah.
I think Tony's got a bit of power in the world these days. Like he seems to be fucking.
He did at one point, but he's lost it big time.
Is he?
Aye.
So is
public opinion on.
Is Tony a good thing then to take place on the WEF, or?
Tony's a good thing if you want it to continue in a downward spiral. Tony's the captain of that ship when you're watching the ship go down and you're like, the captain goes down with the ship. That's a good lad.
Well, then I'm happy with that. Right. I don't want the WEF to succeed. I don't want their fucking plan. I want it to
There's class action lawsuits coming out from even, like, for instance, the Pilot Association are suing the investment houses that required them to invest, the pension funds that required them to invest in ESG. So ESG was one of the sort of spearheads of the World Economic Forum, which was this whole movement to making sure it destroyed them. They basically lost a fortune.
Yeah,
being essentially mandated into investing a proportion of the money into this scheme that was created by the WEF, that was their whole new policy of, well, we are going to make sure there's an economic, social and governance part of any investment fund. And they all fell into that sort of suit. And the irony is, and I think I've told you this before, the ESG score gave you a score based on how environmental, how much of a social impact you made and how much governance you had in the company, meaning that how much more woke you were and how much you were playing by the rule book dictated that you were going to have a better score. Now, if we go with public opinion of what that would mean, you'd be looking at carbon neutral, net zero, electric vehicles, environmentally friendly and so on.
And your footprint.
Yep,
small as possible.
You're buying into all that shite, global warming and blah, 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 blah. So the picture is that you believe in that and you're going to be distributing your portfolio to companies that do well at that. On that ESG score, Coca-Cola had a higher ESG score than fucking Tesla, who create electric vehicles. that showed you the distortion of they have not got this right because they're not doing what they're projecting, what their public image and what they're saying this is for. It was all this green thing, and what it was actually doing, which was rewarding companies that were following the narrative.
I mind Elon was talking about how Ford won the Clean Car Company of the Year, and he's like, I literally only make electric vehicles. It's like, how the fuck is Ford won?
Yeah.
He's like, the people that manufacture the GT40 and the Mustang. He's like, sound okay, cool.
Just leave them to it,
Roger.
It's crazy, and that's the thing, is the hypocrisy of the whole thing, and you get like that. That's why people have lost.
One hand washes the other, mate.
They've lost faith. They've lost faith. I mean, look at the state of politics. I mean, politics is never. I've never seen a time where people have been less disenfranchised and less enthusiastic about politics. They're getting to the point now where
we're at the point now where what are we on, our 5th prime minister we didn't pick.
Yeah.
They've learnt now, like, oh, they can vote this person and then we can reshuffle the cards and do what the fuck we want.
Yep.
Done. Oh, so now what's the point of voting? Oh, we're going to pick this guy. Why? You're going to swap him out in 3 months for whoever you want in power.
I'm not getting the backing now because people are just losing faith in that institution. They're going, look, it doesn't seem to matter what we say or do.
No, it doesn't.
You're just going to do what you want anyway, so why should we entertain what you're doing? That's where you're getting the breakdown. That's why governments are sort of getting more and more extreme in their moves, because they're losing control, they're losing the audience.
Yeah.
So they're now needing to be more authoritative in their approach.
On social media, from what I can see, because a few pages have been put up, who you're picking kind of in the general election, and it's basically between Conservative, Labour and Reform. Every cunt in their dug's Reform at the minute. Every cunt in their dug is going for Reform. And I don't know enough about, who is Richard Tice? I've never heard his name before now.
The difficulty with any of these situations is that the result is that regardless of where you come from, when I broke down how, say for instance, the UK system works, is that there's 7 levels of this sort of outfit, if you want to call them that, right? And people generally believe this is what happens, right? The government are here to serve you, and you pick them to carry out the will of you, or you as a collective, as a population.
World.
This is how they think. They call that democracy. Now, when you go on to the government's website and you look at the structure, the hierarchical structure of that, they've got political parties, and the democratic part sit third from the bottom on a level of 7 levels. So there's 7 levels in that structure, and 4 are incumbent, means that they will never change. They remain, regardless of what you do in the 3rd level from the bottom. So what that means is that you can. It's like saying, right, here's the house, and the house has got 7 teams in it, and the 4 teams at the top stay, and you can vote for the team to come in to do the lower 3. Right, but you're coming to our house. So here, the rules don't change. We run the house. We operate the house. You can come in, you can play a bit, you can make all the noise you want, but you're not going to affect change.
There's managers.
Right. It's a constitutional monarchy, which means that as it stands, the constitutional monarchy means that the top of this point is the monarch.
Who thinks at the top in the UK?
And publicly?
No, behind the scenes.
The City of London.
Yeah, but who's?
So the City of London is a 1 mile square in the City of London. It has its own sovereign state, and it's ruled. But it's ruled. There's the trifecta, which is Washington DC, which is the same as its own territory. The Vatican City, which is its own territory, and the City of London.
Apparently, the City of London and the Vatican don't get on.
Well, absolute power corrupts.
No, but apparently on the basis of that, in the Bible, apparently it states that the home of God is England or some shit like that, and the Vatican believe that the home of God should be there. There's some weird tension between.
I mean, you're really, really going back to.
Yeah, we're going way back.
You're going way back, and what happens is, like.
But apparently the Pope and the old, whoever's in power, because obviously whoever's in charge of our throne is the head of the church.
Yeah.
So apparently there's always a wee bit of a between the two of them.
Well, they believe the British monarchy believe that they are the chosen and appointed rulers, and the head of the Roman Catholic Church believe that they were placed here to be the numero uno. They were to be the top boy, and somewhere along the lines, I'll get the exact date, but it was basically decided that no, we are we are the rulers. That was the whole push for the empire.
Well, I found out Henry VIII started the Church of England. He was the first Protestant because he wanted to divorce one of his wives or some shit like that. So he created. Under the Roman Church, he wasn't allowed to do that. Yeah. So he created.
But the Roman Catholic Church is just the Roman Empire in disguise.
Yeah, fucking right it is.
Yeah, it's just the Roman Empire, and this the thing that they have, and this is the uneasy relationship that they all have is that they're all vying for power, and but it's like having 13 chefs in the kitchen. All of them believe that they're the top cook.
They all believe their stovies is the best.
So having 13 kids and them going to you, right? You know, like who's your favourite? And then I'm just going absolutely
Every
fucking tonto.
Got a favourite.
And it doesn't remain the same.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't remain the same.
But there's always a favourite. Given time.
I think this is what these bloodlines are playing for. Is that they're like, look, I'm wanting to change the stuff. I'm wanting to change the league table here.
I love that when you ask that. What's your favourite kid? I don't have favourites.
It depends. The answer is it depends. It
Absolutely
depends who's doing what.
Aye, but there is always a favourite. Fact. And anyone who says there isn't, they're full of shit.
Aye, you know you're being lied to then.
Aye.
You know you're being lied to.
You're being lied to.
Speaking of which, talking about, that was one of the ones that came up on the list. I've got fucking Vigo Blair hanging out my screen there.
He looks like fucking, you seen the new Cobra Kai? Oh shit. Old Silver's back, and that's what he looks like.
Is he?
You mind for the first one, the bully? Kenny fucking big John Kreese gets him in. It's his neighbour for Vietnam, and he knocks utter fuck out of fucking. He's back in the new. That's so he fucking looks a bit Tony Blairy.
Right, we've done 7 and we've done 10.
3.
The role of pharmaceutical companies in shaping medical research and treatments guidelines for profit.
It could be Tony Blair, huh?
That fucking could be. That guy looks a bit healthier than Tony Blair.
He does. He's got a bit more colour in
Tony's
his face.
fucking.
It could just be makeup though, like that.
Tony, do you know Tony was caught for cross-dressing back in London?
No,
80s? No,
didn't know that.
Oh, full charge sheet and all that. He was called Miranda, and it was an undercover cop was going into the guy's toilets, which was the hangouts. So looking to catch. And they were looking to catch the fucking vagrants that were looking for
about wee glory hole in that.
I just slinging dick, and Tony was caught in the toilets, lifted, and was charged, and he went
as Miranda.
The cop was no, he wasn't. He was charged as Tony.
Oh right, okay.
But the cops sort of like debriefing like this is Miranda came in looking for a fucking rendezvous in the guy's toilets, and Tony was busted back in the day.
I did not know that.
And
old Sherry'd be raging.
I think with the stuff that they've done, I think that's probably not really. It's fucking like
she's like, again, fuck's sake,
cross and Miranda. That's what she's like. That's what he wears when I tell him to clean the kitchen.
She's more raging that she wanted that outfit on for dinner and she couldn't find it.
He's ripped her tights. He's ripped her. He's like my fucking tights. You've been out in the guy's toilets, public toilets again, Tony.
By pharmaceutical companies lying for personal growth.
Well, Absolutely. I've said. I mean, like even before COVID, what did you have? You had the Oxycontin, all the codeines, all the opioid drugs, which were highly addictive, pumped out as painkillers. Doctors were paid a fortune to prescribe them, and just a huge opioid crisis
as well. Our doctors don't get a backhand. Yes, they fucking do. Fucking right, they do.
Here was one that was up today, and a doctor had put it up. She says, so Mary Tally Bowden, MD, if I had vaccinated the 6,000 patients I treated for COVID, I would have made $1.5 million, and that's the incentive program.
Yep. And I told folk about that the doctors were getting paid. I think it was something like 15 quid per jab at the time when I first heard about it. And they're like, nah, that's not true. It fucking is true.
And it's actually paid. What they're doing is they're getting a bonus per vaccinated with increasing percentages. So
the more you do,
the more you do, the more bonus you get. So it starts with if 30% of your patients.
It's like working for Avon or Clean Easy. You know what I mean? The more you sell, the more.
Multi-level marketing fucking on the COVID vaccines.
Herbalife, but of Herbalife versions, you know what I mean?
And this is the stuff, and it's like the farmers at the minute with like the bird flu. Like the bird flu you know, all the shite about it jumping for fucking humans and doing all that sort of stuff. Aye.
Big Bill is fucking bullshit again.
4.2 million chickens need to be culled because of bird flu. And it's like, how much of this like stuff are you going to push? Like, and they're sociopathic. This is a thing with these people that are in charge is, see, when you get to the point, like just going back to like the goldsmiths, see when you're that intoxicated with how much power you can get that you're so fucking blindsided with this unbelievable craving for power that you are willing to sacrifice. Like, I will sacrifice like God's fucking animals and beings. Oh, it's on.
Aye, 50,000 chickens done.
Like 4.2 million chickens, you know, what's 3,000 people in a couple of towers? No bother. Like, wars. Let's go to war. What we'll do is we'll create a whole bunch of people to fight over here. We'll put all these poor women, we'll let their sons go and fight for fucking wars and patriotism, right? Go and be slaughtered. And that'll happen on both sides, so we can cover up that we didn't fucking lend out all the gold and made a fucking killing from it. And we can pick the side, and guess what we get? We'll get titles and so on and so on. Aye. And you go, That's how sociopathic they are.
Even like the conflict in Ukraine is not over yet, but the people to rebuild Ukraine already have the contracts for when it does end. Mm-hmm. Ken, it's like sound. Yep. Ken, I think it's Vanguard and BlackRock that are rebuilding Ukraine.
Well, that happened in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Did you get that contract too?
It was the same thing. He had the Blackwater that had all the security. He had all the security contracts. Really, really murky stuff. Really huge money.
How do you get involved in that? You know what I mean? It's good business.
Well, this is the thing, but they were doing a lot of shady shit, a lot of stuff. And like even now, I mean, they've got like the backlash with you know, the ICC have put out an arrest warrant for the Israeli Prime Minister and his cabinet officers that have carried out some of these sort of attacks. Criminal court is like, nah. This is what happens, right? Is that
depends on the side that they want to win
this is
again.
The whole problem is the whole
back.
good over evil is how many people will stand by, and it's like, well, the court stood by when all the COVID stuff came out, and now it's gone back. And is that just to restore public faith in the system so that you can use that tool again?
Yep.
Or is it a case of they're actually good people that are going to then say, look, they're not going to step by? And the problem is that both of those scenarios have played out in our history, where there has been good people that are wanting to do the right thing. And there's also been people that have used that tactically as a way to swoon and romance people into believing, you know, there's a structure.
It doesn't. If you're one of the people trying to do good, you will just be removed because you're playing against your own team, and they'll just move you. They'll just get rid of you, and they'll put someone in that'll fucking do the job how they want it done. Mm-hmm. So you can try and be the good cunt all you want. They don't want a good cunt. They want a yes man.
Yep.
And if you're not the yes man, they'll find a yes man, and you'll just get fucking papped off.
Excommunicado.
Either shut your puss or you'll have an accident.
Yep. Persona non grata. And that was the thing, like, look at the bankers' wars with the guilds. The bankers' wars with the guilds, all the goldsmiths were in a guild. Your lifeblood comes from this. If you don't march to the beat of a drum, you're out.
Yeah, done.
And what are you going to do?
Get yourself up.
What other guild's going to take you when you've been thrown out of this one? And who's going to believe you? Right, you know what's happening and they're not going to believe you. You know the truth, and you go out there and they're not going to believe a word you say because we've cast the spell.
Yeah.
Right, and that spell that's cast is now internet and social media. I send you the first batch. I don't know if I sent you the first batch of the questions that was on there. Let me see, because it was the...
You sent me 10 things. Oh yeah, can't... What was going on?
Right, there you go. The impact of number 5, the impact of social media platforms on the spread of misinformation and the polarizing of public discourse. So they were actually amplifying and creating polarizing views, and they were manipulating it so people would then take a more extreme view than they otherwise would have done.
But this is this is like the shit I was talking about on our last podcast when I had the cunts fucking jumping on me for not being empathetic. Okay, what I mean?
Have you had your apology? Remember, you got all these things right. Did anybody say to you, Mikey, Sorry, do you remember when you said all that stuff? Do you remember when, you know, I emotionally blackmailed you? Remember I told you to get a vaccine? Remember I told you not to go anywhere? How
selfish I am.
Yeah.
Putting people's lives at risk.
And not to be humane and not to, like, cuddling people. You were a super spreader and stuff like that. Did you get an apology for that? I've not had an apology yet either.
No apology.
What about empathy? Did you get any empathy?
No, but I'm to be empathetic now for the people who ostracized myself and I've now realised that they made the wrong choice and have potentially shortened their own lives. Yep. And I have to be empathetic.
So how does that work? Tell me how that works, where now in hindsight you're right, but you need to exercise empathy because they were scared.
I have to say sorry.
You need to be sorry for, right. And what about, did you get empathy, or were you listened to at the time when you were correct?
No, I feel like I was partially, obviously I've got thick skin, but the term bullied is quite close. You were bullied. You were told you were a fucking idiot. You were selfish. You're a wrong-un. You're going to kill your grandparents. Well, they're already dead, but sound. Just, again, fuck. And it's just that it's kind, and even just the shit they were saying, I'm getting the vaccine to protect others. That's not how a vaccine works, mate. You get a vaccine to protect yourself, Ken, and then they're telling you it doesn't stop you spreading it. So I'm not understanding this here. It doesn't stop you catching it. It doesn't stop you spreading it. Why are you getting it? Oh, if I get it, it might not be as bad, right? And then that changed, and it Ken. Oh wait, now you need two shots. It's 99. Was it Russell Brand posted a thing a while back, and it was brilliant. It was all
the timeline.
The 99%, 98, 97, 90%, 70%. Oh, you might need 2. You might need 3. Oh, there might be an annual booster. There might be a booster every 6 months. You might need 400 fucking jabs. Total. But people are still to this day cutting about with masks and that on. Ken, fucking come on. And this is the problem, though.
What about the clots and things that were found?
Have you seen a couple of the coroners were banding together because they're seeing shit they've never seen with clots that are like a meter long in people?
We're talking about the nanoparticles.
It's like a fucking snake in your blood.
They're talking about the nanoparticles are clumping together, and that's amplifying the clots because the nanoparticles are coming together. And they're basically creating these huge.
And now they're admitting it. AstraZeneca have confirmed that they knew, and the Pfizer, the cancer shit, they've confirmed it. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Did I not send you?
There's a statement they released. Settling out of court for the cancer.
Aye, that's it. They're settling out of court. You're not settling because you didn't do that. Do you know what I mean? And again, it's a long history of fucking.
The reason they want to settle out of court is they don't want to produce the documents in the court. They don't want it to be in record.
Yeah.
And that was Pfizer was the same group that wanted to put it under lock and key for 75 years.
Yep.
Remember that one?
Yeah, because then everybody who
the FDA,
everyone would be dead.
Yep. It was 75 years. It's the whole JFK assassination. Just keep it. Let's keep this thing under wraps. We don't want it out.
Fucking wild. I was watching a court thing the other day about it, and actually I told you about it. The oncologist and all that type of thing. They're spearheading it, and it's fucking mental. But the problem is, see when you challenge the situation that was COVID, folk are like, oh, so you don't believe it's real? I never once said COVID isn't a thing. I'm just saying the whole scenario that was created around it was bollocks. People died of COVID. Okay, and people got COVID. Whether it was a form of the flu, a form of the common cold, a weaponized cold, whatever it turns out to actually physically be. Okay, and it was a thing. But the whole fucking fear-mongering, the control aspect, the mandated, not really mandated vaccines and all that shit, none of it was needed.
Did you see these fuckers that are saying they never once mandated that people get the vaccine?
They didn't know.
And then it cuts back to
they didn't ever mandate it, and this is what I say is because I heard a spokesperson talking about this at one point. There's going to become a time where they say you weren't forced. And at no point, you can look, you won't find a mandate for the vaccine anywhere. You were made to feel like you had to get it.
There was cases of mandates. There was mandates in, for instance...
I don't think in the UK. It was our choice.
There was mandates to travel. There was a mandatory vaccine to be allowed to travel.
But that was a choice.
The choice was to travel, but there was...
but this is the thing. If you want to travel, you needed the vaccine to travel, but whether you got it was a choice.
The ones that stood out to me was the vaccine mandates. I'm sure that they were in the NHS.
No, you didn't have to get it. Your job may have not been safe. If you wanted to keep your job,
it was the care homes.
And this is it was a lever system.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to get it, but you want to be employed.
Yeah.
No, you can no, don't get the vaccine, that's fine, but you're now fired. And because of the emergency powers and that was perfectly fucking legal to do. You could sack some cunt who did not want to get it. Man, one of the boys I know worked offshore, and it got to the point where some of the big company contractors, they wanted the offshore workers to be vaccinated, and he stemmed off as long as he could financially. And then it got to the point where he's like, I'm going to have to fucking do this. So he went and got his Jags, and then 2 weeks later, they fucking wiped it. And he's like, I'm fucking raging. He's like, if I kent it was going to be another 2 weeks, I could have fucking held off.
Yep. British Medical Journal, England's U-turn on the COVID vaccine mandate for NHS staff.
So they never actually legally mandated it at all. And this was a point you were never made to.
No. It says here, on 9th of April 2021, the Health Secretary told Parliament that nearly all NHS staff must be vaccinated against COVID-19 by April 19th April 2022, enacting the necessary legislation as a statutory instrument laid before Parliament on the 6th of January 2022. Although controversial, mandates have been found to increase vaccine uptake. Staff had until the 3rd of February to receive their first vaccine or risk losing their job.
But this is my point. Maybe I'm saying it wrong by saying there was no mandate. Like, you were never forced to. You always had the choice. The choice may have been you can't go on holiday, you can't work in that field, and this is what at some point it'll come out at some point. You were never made to, and that's what they'll start trying to do to legally step away from it. You were never made to. You had a choice.
How do you think they'll do with it?
Fuck knows.
I think they'll be fucked.
I think they're going to be fucked anyway. But it doesn't matter. They've gave it anybody you can go after. They gave fucking legal immunity. So all it's going to do is come out of the public budget to pay reparations to the people that were affected, or compensation, or whatever the term is. Yep. So we're going to be paying ourselves for the damage. It's going to come out of the taxpayers.
Are they going to pay? Is there going to be a higher award available for the people that fucking seen it and deserve like a heavy duty bonus?
No, we need to be empathetic, mate.
Oh shit, that's right.
It. You know what I mean?
I thought you would have been.
We need to be empathetic and apologise.
I thought it would be like a top prize, like a top G Legends status.
I think if the vaccines made you disabled, and this is the thing, the compo is pretty good, but it's how do you prove that that's what caused it? If you've been permanently impaired or made disabled via the vaccine, I think you're entitled to 120k compo. But how do you prove that? You need to get a government employed doctor to say, yes, us, the NHS,
that gave you that told you needed to have it.
Made you feel like you needed to have that. Is that you're not? No one's getting that compo.
Yep.
No cunt. Ken, you're not going to get a doctor will be incentivized to not side with you.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
I want to contain it.
And although this guy, the oncologist boy, I can't remember his name now, is spearheading it, saying like anyone who got the Pfizer vaccine is turbocharged their cancer.
Yep.
What's
his name again? Was it McTaggart or something?
Evidence under the sun. They're not. They're going to fight him on it.
Well, they've also. I mean, there was an article of, the Trust the Science. They've just removed 2,200 peer-reviewed journals on certain topics to make sure that narrative doesn't exist anymore.
Just delete it. Just
gone.
Away.
Right swipe, delete.
You're in there.
Go for it.
It's pretty good. Right, so if you tell people they have to lower their cholesterol levels, and we have a pill to do it, and it will protect you from having heart disease, which everyone's told is hereditary, what you guys don't know that the moment you start taking the statin, the state and drug itself lowers the amount of cholesterol your body can make no matter how much fat you're consuming. And did you know, the cholesterol is the backbone required by your hormone glands to make most of your hormones in the body. He's like, so you need cholesterol to make testosterone. 6 months later, you're going to go to the medical doctor and tell them that you're like, look, my cholesterol numbers are better, but I don't want to sleep with my wife anymore. He says, that's fine. You're in your 40s. That's normal. Here's a little blue pill that's going to help you with that. And then, in fact, cholesterol, drug you started 6 months ago, is the reason now your body can't make testosterone. Because you need cholesterol to make testosterone, and the said fat is now bad for you, causes your cholesterol levels to go back up, which causes you to have heart disease and increase your risk of heart disease. Here's another pill that you can take to now lower the amount of cholesterol to offset the side effects of the first drug you took. So now you're on a low-fat diet you're now on, and that's one thing. And now serotonin is a hormone in every male and female's body that cholesterol is needed to be made. So now your body can't make serotonin, so now you're depressed because it's your happy hormone drug. So now, because you don't have cholesterol, you can't make enough of it, you can't make cholesterol, within 6 months they start putting you on the depressed medication, and now you're anxious. And then they're like, that's okay, this is normal. A lot of people experience this, have a lot of practice in this. So after 6 months of coming here just to get their cholesterol checked, they're now on antidepressants, their testosterone's low, their body can't produce any of this shit. And then, what's it says, and then you're told to stop eating salt and all this other shit. So your kidneys take all of your blood and urine and filter it, and whatever they excrete, that's what you piss out and stuff. Your kidneys have cells inside them to convert uric acid into urine to filter your blood so you can urinate. Your kidneys can't filter anything in your blood without salt. And why has... so kidneys are basically potassium pumps that require salt to work properly. Mm-hmm. So guess what happens to your kidney function when you cut the salt out? It gets worse. You add salt in, they get better. And then your body starts retaining water, your kidneys can no longer filter the urine out your body, and it starts fucking around with your blood pressure and your blood pressures and the pressures on your heart. Increases the pressure, increase the water, increases the pressure, and if you increase the pressure, what's going to happen to your blood pressure? It's going to skyrocket. So now you're not eating salt, your blood pressure is going up, and you've been told to restrict that from the time you're born, modern medicine, and you're told how much salt to consume, and there's loads of conflicting information between all these other medical practices. He's like, so you're literally being fucked over by the medical world by being told this has to be here, and you get to a point where you're fried now.
There's no money in healthy people, and there's no money in dead people.
No,
there's a lot of money in sick people because you've went in and you've been told your cholesterol's too high. Now your testosterone, you don't want to ride.
That makes sense there because that was going quite fast.
You don't want to ride. You're unhappy.
Yeah.
Now you've got high blood pressure. You're anxious, and you don't know why. You don't know why you feel down.
There's 6 tablets.
Yeah, 6 tablets. You need to have this restrictive diet, and you hate yourself. Hate yourself. Your identity's gone. You don't know who you are, and your wife's wondering if you're having an affair. Yeah. Because you just can't face it.
Aye, it's wild. Because you look into a lot of that stuff and fucking. Gary Brecker and Barbara O'Neill and stuff like that, they're talking about it recently that like people who have high cholesterol don't develop dementia and Alzheimer's. People with low cholesterol do. So at the starting point, after 6 months, your system's already fried. And then your end game is this is what you're going into.
I remember like
you're signing up to that.
When I was dieting, people were like, "What? How are you losing weight? Like how are you losing body fat eating steak and coleslaw?" I was like, because this fat thing that you believe doesn't work. Like what you've been told and what it actually does isn't the case.
There are bad fats.
Right. Well, you eat good fat. There is bad fats, but you eat good fats. You eat good foods, really good foods. Your body's going to go, yeah, that's what we need.
Your building blocks are 2 part fat, 1 part protein.
Yeah.
There's nothing in us that is built with carbohydrates.
Like I've noticed, like see when I'm like doing hard endurance efforts, like salt is your best friend. Salt is what you need. Salt is what you want.
Yeah.
I remember finishing Ironman and all
Not table salt.
Of course.
Table salt, fuck off. It's a chemical compound to taste like salt. It is not fucking salt. You need rock salt, sea salt, Himalayan salt, Celtic, whatever the form is, proper, real fucking salt.
Yep. And you get that. I mean, I remember finishing the Ironman and all I wanted was salt.
Yeah.
It was like, what can I get that's got the most salt in it? I think it was. I don't want anything. I don't want a pizza. I just want a bowl of chips and loads of salt.
I've got, because I didn't used to like salt, and I've had to work my way up to it because my coach has got me on 2 grams of salt per meal.
Yep, that's good.
Ken, so 8 to 10 grams per salt per day.
Yep.
And that's just to be fucking hydrated and for shit to run properly. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't know, oh, you need to drink more water. Cool. If you don't have the salt intake, your body doesn't know what to do with the fucking water.
Yep.
But like that, we're brought up, salt's bad. Don't have salt. Cut salt out. Ken, and then there's dehydration. There's another fucking problem. Just by not having fucking salt.
And the thing being is that if you don't have enough salt in you can be putting the right amount of fluid in, and it's just going straight through you.
Yeah. If folk are like, oh, I've started drinking water, I'm going to the toilet at times, because your body's not using the water.
Yeah.
You need the salt to hydrate the cell. The sodium has to be present.
You were saying about coffee as well. You mentioned that.
I went to I've been going down these fucking food rabbit holes. Charlie's been listening, and then she had a look last night, and I came upstairs to check on her, and she's like, I wish I hadn't started watching this. I'm like, what you watching? She's like, what they do to our food. I'm like, I told you. Like, it's a horrible, like, Ken, the knowledge isn't always a good thing, Ken. She's just now like, fuck's sake.
You do get in that situation. I mean,
ignorance is bliss. It really is.
And when you're tightening up your diet and you start to look around and you go, no, and you're like, pretty much most of the things in here I'll not be eating. Yeah,
they're fucking fake. Bullshit. Total fucking fake. But apparently the part that makes a coffee a diuretic, which dehydrates you, is a mold that consists, and it can survive the roasting process in the coffee, and that's the bit that apparently makes it a diuretic. But you can't do anything about it. The chemical name is on my phone. I can't. It begins with an O. I'd be lying if I try to say it. And that is
but do you think that
and coffee strips the magnesium out your system, which is a bad thing. I really like coffee, so I just take more magnesium.
Do you think that it's one of the things where you try and find a balance? Because if you do enjoy something and you go, look, can I balance it out?
Well, this is the thing. Since I've been on my...
I'm not saying like I'm on 17 Big Macs a day and I'm going to take my vitamin D supplement.
This is what I'm doing with coffee. I've given up like to my fuck, I don't know what you call it. My lifestyle change journey, whatever you want to call it. Fitness journey, whatever it is.
Fitness journey.
Fucking shit. But like, I just lost my train of thought there.
You were talking about your fitness journey.
The amount of stuff I've had to give up.
Yeah,
I'm like, right, I'm done giving stuff up now. Like, how can I? Right, so coffee's doing this to me. Sound. If it's drying me out and it's stripping my body of magnesium, cool. I need to drink more water and put in more magnesium.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if my magnesium intake is higher than what is taken off me, it should be good. And if the hydration level's there to balance that part out, then excellent. The only bit I don't like is the fact that it's a mold doing it to me. I'd rather not have any mold in my system at all. But that's a new thing I've just found out in the past week. So I need to look further into that to see if it's factual. And I'm hoping it is bollocks. But the people that were talking about it are generally pretty fucking solid. So it's kind of
I've gained a great result with the kefir grains. See the kefir.
I know what kefir is, but kefir grains.
Kefir grains is what the kefir is made from, so it's fermented. The grains fermented in whole milk.
Right, sorry for your gut health.
What I took it for was I thought it would solve my heartburn. Done a little bit, but I noticed that elsewhere in my performance, my power output dramatically increased. Like the guys that I cycle with,
well, if you sort your gut out, your body's going to be able to take in more from your fucking food.
Like the guys are like, how are you, like, where's this jump in fitness came from? And I'm like, I don't actually know. I was thinking about it. I thought, well, you've been training hard, like, put a good winter of training in. And I'm like, but it's not any more than I did before. And I'm like, well, I'm back at the gym. And I'm like, but I'm back at the gym and I'm going hardcore at the gym. And I'm like, right, but I've done that before.
Yeah.
And
the only change
I'm stronger than what I was before.
So you drinking it or you putting in your shakes?
Just drinking it. Just drinking it. It's like,
so you're buying the grains?
I bought the grains and the dairy actually now deliver them off because they make their own.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, Cool, give me them.
Buy kefir from Graham's delivered to you now.
Aye, well, it's Mills that do mine, and I'm like, right, bring the apple juice, bring the milk straight for the dairy. Yeah. You know, we drink switch to the full milk.
Because this is all basically Yakult we're doing for ages. Can put in that the good bacteria.
Yeah, but the Yakult's got 4 great bacteria in it, and kefir's got 60.
Oh shit! Okay,
it's a real jump.
Nice.
And like the guy that I watched, he was explaining it was like it was in the Ural Mountains, and all these people were strong and really healthy, and it was all these sort of sour milk concoctions.
It's funny that it's just
kind
of caught on because it's been a thing for a very, 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 very long fucking time. It just seems to only now be on the shelves in supermarkets. I've noticed there's an actual section for kefir now. Do you know what I mean?
But it's really, really good. Like I find, I get a bit hungry after it. I mean, I can feel. I'm like, I feel a bit. I could eat.
Do you figure out what was causing your heartburn?
Yeah, but I don't know what. Like I've tried to resolve what that is, but I don't like. Got to the bottom of it yet. Mate. The what?
Food diary. Note down what you're putting in, and which is fuck. I've eaten that, and half an hour later, I'm fucking my stomach acid's coming up my fucking throat. Yep. One of the leading causes for heartburn actually is eating too late at night and lying down, going to bed with a full stomach, and it puts strain on the valve.
Yep,
and it causes it to be a bit loose.
Does it? I mean, I've seen the guy that done my stove said that he had surgery to wrap round. There was some sort of procedure to wrap. No, it was like they were wrapping round some bit of the esophagus that was then creating the downward pressure on the flap. Okay, that fucking sounds pretty like hardcore. But he says that
he might have fucked the valve completely though, where he was just constantly kind of like it wasn't sealing. So
he's just having a lot of bother with heartburn. I mean, I don't get it. I stopped the omeprazole because I'm like Joe. My pal, it's the GP's like
it's not good for you. You're literally fucking ruining your stomach acid.
Yeah, but like
which you need.
I felt that like when something was off when I was taking the omeprazole, I was like. There was something that wasn't dialing in with the way I was eating.
They prescribed that shit to me for not so much on an anxiety base. So with the autism bollocks, when I'm having a hard time, one of the stress reactions I get is I start to burp a lot.
Right.
And so their solution was, let's just cripple your stomach acid. I'm like, I'm good. I'll deal with the burp.
I found that when I was taking the omeprazole, I was more hungry, and that I didn't get a sensation of feeling full. And then when I came off the omeprazole, I was like, I don't really need to eat, and everything went into rhythm again.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a bit strange. And I took I noticed them like that's making sense. Like it's better. I'm like, well. Taking a couple of Rennies is fine versus like taking this thing that just knocks me out of balance. Taking a couple of Rennies
isn't it fine? Do you know what it does to your inside your stomach?
Not got a clue.
Get a pint of anything and put Gaviscon or Rennies in it. It turns it to jelly. Which is how it stops you. It's how it stops the heartburn. Is it turns the contents of your stomach to jelly. You can't have heartburn if it can't jump up.
Right.
Because the only reason we found this out, we were at a party one night and we made a dirty pint. And whoever lost had to do the dirty pint. And we put Gaviscon in the dirty pint and it solidified it and he had to eat it with a spoon. It basically became jelly. As soon as we introduced the Gaviscon, it was like fucking putting silicon.
See, the Gaviscon doesn't work for me. It needs to be Rennies. I've tried the Gaviscon, it doesn't work.
It's the same principle.
I don't know. If
when you
get
home, just fuck it. I don't know. I'd be interested to see if it works with water. Just get a pint of water and put a couple of Rennies in it and watch what happens. If it does what it turned, and this was a pint of vodka, red wine, beer. Yeah, he fucking ate it. He lost the bet. One of the lads had to eat a pack of frozen waffles at the freezer. Just sitting there, 12 frozen waffles making his way through. It was one of those nights, lad, that we were on one. So he's sitting there eating frozen waffles, and that's all I can say in a spoon feed a fucking pint of Gaviscon red wine.
I take it no heartburn then.
Oh, he'd have probably been, it was fuck me. You can neck a dirty pint in 30 seconds. This was a graft. Sitting there
what was in it?
Vodka, Buckfast, fucking red wine, beer. It was just a bit of whatever he had on the table. And it just turned to jelly, just solidified.
Looking back, you go, what were you thinking, man, when you think of some of the stuff? I remember Jordan Peterson talking about, like, in this day and age where everything's online, pictures are taken, and you go, he's like, I'm glad that none of this stuff is about it. You're looking back, some of the stupid shit that you do when you're young.
I can't mind if I've said, I don't know if we spoke about on a previous podcast. I don't know if I've told you before. Me and another boy when you used to go to house parties and things were involved, getting classification, substances and such, and I won't back down from a situation, especially back in the day when man points were involved. I'm dialed in. I'm taking all the points. And me and an air lad that used to go to the parties, we were just at this state of wreckness, and there was one bit of pizza left, and we're like eyeballing each other and like telepathically, like, that's my fucking bit of pizza. But no one's saying anything at this point. And someone just picks the pizza bit up and fucks it in an ashtray, like no cunt saying it. And it's like, I'll still fucking eat that. And he's like, I'll still fucking eat that. So we split this bit of fagged up pizza and we smash it. Then we're sitting eyeballing each other. Like, I'd drink your pish. I'd fucking drink your pish. And then this leads on to next thing, we're pissing in cups. And then it starts to get out of hand here to the point where every cunt in the party's like, enough. Fucking enough. And then we ended up getting trophies made. His said Mikey wins and mine says Tim wins, and that was the fucking end of this.
That was it. We just call this it.
This
is the line.
This is the line.
This is the line, boys. You've done well. You've done well to get here. Right, but look, we're not going any further here.
Oh, the folk we're going after nuts.
I wonder, man. People having a good time. Fucking, I'll pish in your cup. You pish in my cup.
It was a dark night.
What would be your advice to anybody that suggests eating a fucking ashtray up pizza when you're full of it? Win.
Aye. Win at all cost. If you're not first, you're last. Yep. Shake and bake. It's a memory, mate.
I was talking
we were that far into the party as well. It was basically water as well, you know what I mean? It was the clearest piss you've ever seen.
There was no salt in your system.
No salt. This was just water, lad.
Right. There was no salt, no magnesium. Yeah. You were fucking eating the mould off the ashtray.
This wasn't the first thing in the morning piss. It was basically water. It was good.
You know, we talked about Rocky 3, Thunderlips.
Thunderlips.
I was talking to George about, he was teaching about, like, if somebody comes across negatively, how to handle it.
Yeah.
Like, how to deal with it. And I says, I gave him this example. I says, there's imagine that, you know, when you go on holiday and you learn some words, you learn hello and thank you and please and all that sort of stuff. Right, well, just like you go abroad, imagine there's a group of people that are among us that are from Negativity Island. Right, now, Negativity Island's got two sides. Right, on one side of the island is just people that will forever be negative. That's all they know. And they're not looking for any outcomes. It's just everything is negative and dour, right? But they speak negativity. But there's other people from the other side of the island. Right, and this is where things get interesting, is that these people have got really good intentions and want the best for you, but because I'm from Negativity Island, it doesn't come out like that, and they speak negativity because that's their native language.
The they know,
that's the language that they know. So just like when you go abroad, if you hear someone who's using the negativity language, but you think that they've got good intentions, guess what you need to do? You need a wee bit of translation.
You need to teach them.
So, like, I gave him some examples. Is like, so see when he does this, what do you think that he's saying? Because this is a well-meaning, but it comes out like this. What do you think that is? And he's like, he can see the instant, but he's going, the reaction part. And I'm like, no. And he's going, well, it means this. And I'm like, exactly. And then we get about 4 or 5 of them in, and I was like, do you remember Rocky 3? And he's like,
he brought it up.
I said, no, I brought him up. I says, remember Rocky 3? He says, remember when Rocky was flat-footed and Apollo, so Clubber Lang, he's fighting Clubber Lang, and Clubber Lang is destroyed Rocky. Rocky's not got the fight in him because Clubber Lang's powerful and fast. And then Apollo Creed's like, you need to beat him. This is how we do it.
Yeah.
And Apollo's getting on at him and getting on at him and getting on at him. I was like, but watch, he's saying things because he's finding the weakness, but he's also encouraging him. I was like, so the problem that people that speak negativity just do the first part of what Apollo's doing. They don't do the second part. It says, do you see what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah. So that was us. We watched Rocky 3, watched the fight scenes, and I'm like, what's he doing there? He's encouraging him. What's he doing there? He's reinforcing the lesson. And I'm like, can you see what he's doing? I was like, yeah. I said, so see if you get someone that speaks negativity from, you know, they're from Negativity Island, just think, do they want the best for me? Because if they do, guess what you just need to do? Just do the next bit, just like what Apollo said there is step 1. I found the weakness, and what Apollo did was, here's the fix, and you can do it.
Yeah.
right? And the great thing was Paulie was in the background, just constantly. He's just negativity.
He's
the other side of the island. He's like, hey, you can't treat him like a coloured fighter. He's not going to go to this jungle music. He's too flat-footed. I was like, where do you think Paulie's from? He's like, he's from the other side of the negativity island. I says, well, there you go. I says, that's Paulie, and Paulie is negativity from one side of the island, and Apollo's showing you what negativity sounds from the other side, but doing the translation
as well.
He's doing the translation as like, so see, when you get something that's like that, just do the translation bit, just like if you were Turkey and you would say please or thank you, just change it up a wee bit, it just needs a wee bit of translation. And he was like, I've got it. And that was like, we're back into Rocky. We went through Rocky 3, Rocky 4. What's your favourite Rocky? What's your favourite bit? And I says, look, this is the thing. And it's like, remember when we started and I says, look, this is how you get respect for your kids. This is how you build a bond. Things like this. Take the time, explain something.
What is your favourite Rocky movie?
Rocky 4.
Standard.
Rocky 4, 100%.
Has to be.
It's just got that, like if you're from that generation, right, it's got the right amount of sci-fi, digital, kind of the whole.
How cool was fucking Dolph's gym in the movie? How fucking yeah.
It was you know, the digital signs, the punch back, you know, hitting the punching, and it had the digital display. How much pounds per square inch he's in this space age gym. You know, the Russians are like they're going to squeeze every bit out of him. He's ripped. He was shredded. You see how chiseled his face was.
That was one of the first people I'd seen. I'm like, I want to look like that one. Like, I'd love to look like that one day.
You see how chiseled his face was. He didn't look. He looked like somebody had like stretched his skin over his face.
He was in some fucking shape back in this.
Yeah, he was lean. But you seen Rocky, and Rocky was more like
he was so fucking shredded.
He was ripped,
unbelievably.
Like, Dolph had a natural ripness about him. Like, he was lean, but he wasn't Rocky lean. No. Rocky was ripped. He was diced,
peeled.
The good thing was that fitted the character, because Rocky was coming up as the underdog, and Dolph looked like that. He looked like the Universal Soldier. Like, it was just this guy being created in the lab.
Soldier.
Oh, he was a
Universal Soldier, lad.
Like, he just looked like he'd been created in a lab.
Aye, it was fucking.
But it was that sort of generation of a Casio watch with a calculator on it.
It was quite good too, because Ken's wife in the movie in Rocky 4.
Bridget.
Aye, that was Stallone's wife at the time.
What's her name? Was it not Bridget Fonda? Bridget Nielsen.
Aye.
Bridget Nielsen.
That was fucking Stallone's wife at the time.
It lasted well, didn't it?
Nope.
But it was good. It was, and this is what I'm saying, is like, take the time it's they be moments.
The problem is getting fucking kids off YouTube and that these days.
Aye.
Fucking poison, lad.
Aye. I know.
Can't remove
it. It can be hard.
I've tried deleting off the TVs. The button reinstalls it on the TV. The button on the remote. I took the fucking button off the remote. Ragnar comes downstairs. He said, Dad, did you know the Netflix button fits in the YouTube button? I'm like, you little shit.
But is he bad for it?
YouTube?
Aye.
Awful.
What does he watch?
Some of the stuff he watches I don't have a problem with, but you're only ever 2 clicks away for something I'm not happy with.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And you can tell, like, if you cut YouTube out, your child acts a lot better. You know, because a lot of they're watching some of these millionaire kids from fucking America who are little cunts. Do you know what I mean? And then they start mimicking how they're acting, and because they're watching these videos and they think it's funny, and they think they're being funny, they're not aware that they're not.
Yeah, it's the screaming and the loud and the overreaction.
And just it's fuck. And then he'll do something. He thinks he's pranking someone, but it's like the context of the prank you're not getting, lad. I know you're seeing them doing this, but there's a build-up that you're missing, and you're just doing something to someone that isn't coming across as a prank. It's coming across as you being a little dick. And Kenny's young, so he doesn't understand this part out, but we go through periodic points where we just cut it out and you're just not allowed it. And his behaviour gets better when you cut it.
What do you think works for him?
What do you mean?
Like, what other stuff does he do? Like, if YouTube can be detrimental, is there another thing that
Netflix programs are fine?
Are they?
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, getting them outside. Like,
the problem is, obviously, the winters here are shit. Like, we're at the point now where it's getting better. You can go back out and play in the square. You can go in the garden. You can go on his trampoline. We can go for a walk up the woods. We can go out on Kenny's. You're not confined to the house because of the weather. The weather through the winter can be shite. So, you know, there's days where, especially as a working parent, when they're off school, they generally end up in their house, or they end up at their grandparents being watched, and you know,
You know, I found funny talking about the weather. I was watching. Was wondering how Ashley Kane was doing. You know, the guy who's doing the Ultraman.
I know who he is. I don't know what he's doing though. I've seen a few things. He's not doing stuff for charity for some wee boy or something. I've seen a few things on social media.
He's raising money for the foundation it's called the Azalea Foundation. So his daughter died.
That sucks.
She was only like 18 months old.
That's shit.
So big battle through the hospital. And the thing being is like I don't think he was popular because his attitude beforehand.
Is this him that was on that TV show that got him known?
I think he was on like something before, like a Love Island or something similar to that.
What's his name? Let me double check that I'm thinking about
Ashley Kane.
Ashley Kane. Yes, we're on about the same guy. Cool.
Aye. So he says himself, he was like, I need it. Like one of the things that happened, this traumatic event, tragic losing his daughter, big fight. I'm sure it was a cancer of some kind. Anyway, poor wee lassie died, and she, they were just gutted, totally distraught, and tried everything, but nothing worked. And she's battled through this. He's like putting himself at the test. He's like, if she can suffer like that, then how can I know I can achieve these things? A lot of people.
So is this the base point for how he's became this influencer, if you like?
Well, I think they had a bit of like a bad boy kind of cunty approach before, and was on these sort of shows like the Love Island type sort of stuff. And didn't come across too well. So he had a bit of kind of fame before that, and I think when he's sort of got to the family life, this whole story's changed who he is, and now he's like trying to find purpose in life whilst raising awareness and money for the charity. So he's took on this challenge to do. He was on like the SAS Who Dares Win Celebrity Edition.
See, that's what I've seen him on.
Aye. So he was on that, and then he went to. He's doing something, the Ultraman, unfortunate timing, because the Ultraman would be an amazing feat. He's running the length of the UK, then cycling back down to the bottom, then rowing back up to the top. Right, but Russ Cook just ran the fucking entire length of Africa.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like unfortunate that it's been overshadowed by a fucking blistering, like that Ultraman is a phenomenal achievement, but in the backdrop, it's like running a 5-minute mile is great, but Roger Bannister's just ran a 4-minute mile. So how big an impact does that have? Because I think what he's doing is really, really tough. But I was following. He's ran over a marathon a day for the last 34 days to get from the Land's End to John O'Groats. He's got on the bike. Now he got the first day on his bike. I've checked his story, and he's like 70 miles in, and he's like, look,
I'm dead.
I'm fucked. He says, I thought the bike was going to give me a rest. He's like, it's destroying me. He says, I'd rather run. He's like, this thing is ripping me apart. He's like, and he's just got a box of donuts. He's spent, Mikey. Like he's got nothing. Like you see it in his eyes. He's like, this has fucking wiped me out. And I'm loving it because I'm like, I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel. I know where you're at. And he's like, he's got nothing to hold on to other than, right, look, I've got this big challenge. I'm doing it for a great cause. I remember like my heartache and my wee girl. Like, so he's clinging on to that, but despite fucking how wiped out he feels, because he's feeling done in. And I thought, do you know what? I'll keep an eye on him, because if he comes down, I'm going to jump out on the bike and go and give him a bit of encouragement, give him a bit of motivation, because I know how hard it is. But the thing being is that, see, when you're doing something that's really, really hard on the bike, like see when you feel your worst, it doesn't get any worse than that. The only way is up.
Yeah, that's
as long as you just keep going. But see, at that point, like you just want to stop. You just I need to. And if you just get past it, you come out, like, because you will feel better. Your body will respond. But at that bit, you need to get through it. And it's that getting through it. But that's where you're like, oh, this is pretty fucking tough.
There's mental strength.
But I think it'd be pretty cool, because I mean, fair play. I mean, it's a phenomenal achievement, because there's a few things that he's done in terms of, like, he's got a lot of grief in terms of the way it's been, like, it's a bit over marketed and a bit like people are like, nah, I don't really like the style. Like, fair enough if that's what they think, but this challenge of what he's doing is, I think,
is on the same token though, if you've got the platform, why would you not fucking use it? If the whole point of what he's doing is to spread awareness and raise money, surely the bigger reach, the better.
I don't know. I think he's just getting it tight because some of the moves that maybe his marketing team have put across have not landed that well.
All right, okay.
So like, there's, you know, the backstory is that, you know, it's all about Azalea and he wants to raise money, and then he's like, you know, the flash house and the flash car and the fucking sponsored by like this clothing brand, and then I'm going to go back to going, you know, raising money. I just think that story's interrupting like a couple of these plays that he's using on the platform is driving that monetizing that element off the back of the platform. The platform's been developed for this like story, and it doesn't match. Yeah. And I think that's where he's getting a bit of stick. But hey, look, I mean, you're never going to please everybody.
You can't please everybody.
You're not going to please everybody. And the reality is, you like, fair enough if he's monetizing it, but
on the same token, if he's
gone out there and doing like how much you fucking raised for a charity these days? This guy's running up and down the fucking country. Yeah. Like, what have you done? And this is the thing: is people are quick to.
They're sitting back and throwing stones.
You're quick in judging, and I think fucking fair play to you. Like, right, you've came out, you've said you were a complete dick before. Right, you had a really bad perspective that you've recognised this wee lassie's been your fucking pride and joy. It's ripped your heart out that she's died, and then you're going to go and raise some money and hopefully help other kids. Yeah. I mean, fair play to you. Like, that's life. But none of us are perfect. Fair play to you, man. That's a really, really good thing to do. You know, if you're going to do something and you're going to find a place to put your time and effort, fucking good on you. Aye, good on you, man. And I know how hard that Mike is. I know where he's at. I know that's busting his ass because he's also got how many more days of this? Because it's not like, oh, I've got 30 miles to get home.
So what is he averaging a day at the minute?
Doing 100 miles a day in the bike.
And how long's the UK mileage?
So 800, and he's doing it about a week, but 8 days.
It's miserable, huh?
It's
not a straight road either.
This is where it fucking started, right? Because see, when you've cycled the UK,
where did he start from?
John O'Groats.
So he's going
John O'Groats to Land's End.
So he's going downhill for a decent portion.
No, because what people that have cycled Scotland realise, right?
There's no downhill.
England is a fucking pool table, right? See people in England that go, "This is a hill." You're like, mate, that's a speed bump.
That's it.
Right? Wales has got hills. Scotland has got a fucking mountain range, right? So, and he's like, you can see him because he cuts to a fucking clip with it. He's like, the camera's pointing out the way and the rain's bouncing off the ground. And he's like, what the fuck, Scotland? And I'm like, welcome to Scotland, mate. The rain is actually going down and bouncing up.
And it's, you're getting hit twice.
You're getting hit the way down, the way up. And then he's like, it's just like this, and I know what's happening because it's normal for us because we're used to it. But he's coming from a place where all his training will be like this, and he's came up and it's fucking like that. And when it's wet, you've got this problem because when you're going uphill, you get warmer because you're putting in a harder effort, and when you're descending, you're getting colder. So that's amplified with the rain because you need to get stripped off, and you're more soaking. And when you try and wrap up, you just get this sort of greenhouse effect, and you're like, I just can't get anything right. I prefer like, I'll go out in shorts and a t-shirt, like a jersey, because I'm like, I know I can heat up if I go harder. So I'll try and regulate it like that. I've tried the jackets and I end up stripping them off, and you never sort of feels right.
Breathable, but they're fucking not. Not like, to that point.
You don't know, because the thing is that you put them on, and then it's wet inside, and you're like, right, it's breathable, but is that sweat? Is it letting rain on? Is it coming down the top? Is it coming up the... You don't fucking know, and you end up just going, look, give him my jersey, I can go harder, as long as it's no Sub-Zero, I'll just get on with it.
Yeah, I'll be good.
And you just crack on. So it seems to be the way to balance it. But fair play to him, man. I mean, as a parent, you go, look, nobody'd want that.
No.
Nobody'd want that at all.
No, it's a fucking rough one, that, like, it's minging.
So fair play to him. Anything else you want to cover?
Not off the top of my head.
Let's fucking check this, see if there's any juice. If not, we'll wrap it up.
Any juice worth squeezing?
Right, let's see. Big Mikey. Right, I'm going to fucking quick fire. If you like them, we'll go for it. If you don't, we're fucking wrapping it up, right? So here we go. Mass surveillance Epstein Island, fracking we covered, UFOs, which is always a good one, state home child abuse, Catholic priest child abuse, UK elite paedophile ring, digital health passports, New World Order, cashless society we covered, the existence of the government programme to collect data and monitor citizens, the use of propaganda and misinformation by governments to manipulate public opinion, the role of...
that, did we not?
Aye, I think we did. The influence of corporate lobbying on government, that's too fucking murky, we'll leave that one. Social media we discussed, the military-industrial complex, the potential for pandemics and other global health crises to be exploited for political and economic gain.
It's apparently coming, man.
Yeah.
Apparently another one in the pipeline.
Aye, they were not prepared. Well, the WHO treaties fell apart. Do you see that the governments have just rejected it?
Is it?
So it's fucking falling apart. Slovenia were like a
I've
big
seen
campaign.
they've been like, fuck off.
Tedros has came out. So Tedros, you know Tedros, it's the World Health Organization director.
All right, yeah.
Been charged in his country for genocide and as a terrorist. He was in Ethiopia and he created the genocide. And
was that him back in the day?
Tedros. And he's
only just being pulled up for it now.
No, he was pulled up for it years ago.
Oh, right, okay.
Like the WHO, I don't know if he put that on his CV for the WHO to get the job, because they were like, "You're our guy. Like, you up for it? Well, that's good. I know that you've done it on a local scale. You fancy going prestige worldwide on the.
It's like a hacker that, like, right? How do I get a job? Right, I'll hack the Department of fucking Defense, and then I'll get a job.
Yeah,
it's one of those ones. If I do this, I'll get into the big leagues.
Well, that Graham McKinnon, was it Graham McKinnon or Gordon McKinnon, the Scottish guy that was autistic? Yeah, but that happened to him. He was the autistic guy who was like he was like fucking Kilmarnock or Ayrshire.
Oh, and he hacked the
US's database and had found like the UFO technology. He was like, well, they extradited, then gave him a job. Like, what else can you do?
Happens every time, because I mean, like, if you have that system, and this weekend pokes a hole in it. Well, of course you're going to give him a fucking job. Fill that hole for us. Find any other fucking holes.
Yeah.
Here's 250,000 a year on a company car.
Yeah. How do you like? What do you like? What toys do you like?
This is it.
What is it we need to do to keep you amused?
Because half these cunts aren't even interested in money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they've got odd fucking shoes on and everything.
Can I watch Back to the Future on repeat for 18 hours a day and eat fucking Wotsits or Cheetos? Yeah, cool. We'll get you them.
Can I have the computer from Swordfish? Yes, you can.
Yes.
I need 9 screens.
That's it. Happy as fucking Larry.
Mental. That's fucking wild.
Well, that was good. We enjoyed that. I think we covered a good bit.
It's always a good crack. And we've got shit for next time too, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's fucking good. But I was really impressed with Gork.
I'm going to need to look into that. I didn't fully understand the message you sent me earlier. I thought you were like, but I didn't realise these were talking points from Gork.
No, I've prompted Gork because what I want, if what we could do is we could go and get Chat GPT. We could put in the same question,
and you'll get
and it will come out with PC. What the narrative wants it to be. Right, because it's been programmed to give those answers.
That question.
Bingo. Yeah. Same thing where Gork's like, fucking hit us with it. I'll tell you.
Done. Like I didn't know that was a thing. How long's that been about?
It's still it's not been released. You need to be a
subscriber.
You need to be a premium plus subscriber to X. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to a shot.
What's a premium subscriber? How much is that setting you back?
130 quid for the year.
That's
nothing.
£13 a month.
All you need to do is verify. Like, I'm verified. I've got 2 accounts, one for the podcast, one for me.
Yeah.
So you verify, you get your blue check mark. It's you. They've put in your ID, pay for it, you're good to go.
So you've got to do this like that.
I don't know if I don't think it's ID. I think they use it via your bank. I'm sure they connect your bank. I would need to check because I don't think it was ID. Wait.
I used to want a blue tick until you could pay for it, and now it's the cringiest thing in the world. Now I don't want a blue tick, and it's annoying me because the security that comes with the blue tick.
Yeah, you're better with it.
I know, but I know.
You're better with it because then some can't just steal your shit.
Fucking, they've made it not cool.
How?
Because getting a blue tick was mint. It was really hard to do. It was difficult to get a blue tick, and now every cunt can just buy one.
No, I don't. No, you can't just buy one.
Yeah, you fucking can.
No, you can't. You need to go on a waiting list. You need to be on a waiting list and they approve you.
Since when?
It's been...
They sold 44 million ticks in the first 24 hours.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is now, like If you set up, you could go and set up an account now.
What, on Instagram?
You could go into an Instagram. Well, it's Meta, so whether you wanted it Facebook or Meta or Instagram, you could set it up now, and you couldn't go and buy a blue tick. You need to wait until they say, look,
they hit me every fucking day.
Well, it's because you're established.
Get a blue tick. Fuck off.
You should get a blue tick, man.
It's not cool. I put a poll up being as a blue tick cool or wanky. 99% wanky.
Every one of them was Robbie.
One person.
Everybody.
No. One person said it was cool and they bought a blue tick.
Yep.
Everyone else was like, nah, it's cringy.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. But the security added features,
even like the branding, like the thing is like if somebody wants to know if it's genuinely you and they don't like it, I get what
there's a lot of hacking accounts and folk because a lot of tattoo artists are finding new folk will be like, oh, contact me to book in, and people are paying deposits or entering competitions. Because
if you say like, if I said like, for instance, if I was a hacker and I was like, right, I can get Mikey's ID, I'll verify his account, I'll get a blue check mark, and then I fucking hit up all your followers. Oh, I've got a slot available, pay deposits, get 100 people, and then you're like, but Mikey, it's you, it was a blue check mark, and then you're like, look, that's way more uncool than fucking, is it cringy to get a blue tick?
Because one of the boys was just like, oh, why have you got a blue tick? He's like, mate, it was like my social media accounts are pretty much my business. He's like, if I have to have a blue tick to get the security, I've got a blue tick. I'm like, can I not buy the extra security and just then I put a blue tick on my fucking
buy
name?
It, man. Stop being childish. Just do it.
In fact, it's one of those ones too. I made such a big deal about no having one that I can't just go get one.
You've repented your sins. Right? You can fucking have a blue tick. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Conversations with an Investor. It is never a dull moment when we've got Big Mikey in the hot seat. Covered everything. Is blue check marks cringy? What's the situation with AI? Is Gork the new uncensored source for all things AI? Can you get a tattoo off AI? What's up with the current conspiracy theories? Why are we running out of them? And how long is it before the conspiracy theories become conspiracy facts? And I think we covered off quite a few there that I'm sure you'll agree there's more weight to them being fact than there has been a theory at this point. So we'll cover off more in the next episode. If you do have any that you want us to cover off that we didn't speak about, or is there any that we discussed there that you want a deeper dive, let us know. Follow me on all our social media channels. You can get Big Mikey at Big Mike OST on all platforms. You get myself at Geo McNee at Conversations with an Investor. If you like the sound of the Mount Mindset Challenge, it's going to be there soon. Hit me up if you want to be sent an invite to that. If you want to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, there is no better way. It's some of the best material that I've ever written, that I've taken from all the stuff that I've read over the years to get the most out of myself. So if you want to join in the fun, let me know. And from me this week, that's a wrap.